Alright, what's going on YouTube? Jordan versus Capoch, a much anticipated series over here. We'll be spectating these games all live. We will have a civilization draft over here. Jordan is picking islands and gold rush, banning hideout. Capoch is picking cross and bay, banning slopes. Civilizations will be Chinese, Aztecs, global bans, Lithuanians, Franks, Tatars, Huns, Berbers, Mongols available for Jordan. And Japanese, Byzantines, Mayans, Britons, Malians, and Koreans will be the civs for Capoch. Capoch loses Italians to the snipe, whereas Jordan lost the Vikings over here. With that being said, oops, that's the wrong scene. We will be ready for them to launch up the game. I think they were already in the lobby, so they might get going in half a minute or so. So, previous round, Nili lost to Capoch. That was a tough matchup for him. Capoch looked extremely strong. Jordan defeated Cyclops, very, very well-known Turkish player, but obviously there was a massive skill gap. Well, it wasn't really a massive skill gap, but there was a considerable skill gap in the favor of Jordan in that one. So let's see if Jordan can avenge the loss of his teammate. Fun fact, if Nili would have defeated Capoch, we would have had a Nili versus Jordan series over here. This time, Capoch eliminated one Gamer Legion member, and we will see if he is actually able to eliminate another one. I think that Capoch looked extremely sharp in the recent memory I have seen in tournaments, and because of that, I'm going to say that I'm giving a free one here for Capoch. However, Jordan's gonna have his shots. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised to see Jordan winning the series, although I feel like Capoch is a little bit more likely. So I would right now say 65-35% chances of Capoch winning this one. Anyways, we are getting ready, and after this series, we will be casting Hart versus Rubenstock with T90. Those will be recorded games, but obviously everything will go on YouTube as well. So YouTube people don't miss out on anything either. Anyways, we do have a first game over here, and that is a little bit of a surprising first game for civilizations, because you have a standard and a non-standard civilization being picked over here. Let me show you. I will have to just make sure that everything is set up with capture age, and we can just take a look at the lobby, and there is the standard Frankish pick of Jordan. That's a very, very standard civilization right now. In fact, one of the most picked civilizations. If I pull up the stats sheet, on Arabia, 13 times were Chinese picked, 14 times were Franks picked. The next closest one is Mayans with 8. So by far, alongside Chinese, Franks are the most picked civilization on Arabia. Malians were also picked a couple of times, but while Franks do have a 64% win rate, 9 wins and 5 losses, which are with a considerable sample size, Malians only have a 25% win rate, 1 win, 3 losses. That being said, Malians actually give you a little bit more versatility than Franks. So the men-at-arms play is viable, Drosh play is viable, archers are completely viable, the camels will be a nice way to deal with the cavalry early on. The problem that you're going to be facing with Malians is that your pikeman is absolute junk, especially like in Imperial. In Castle Age, Malian pikemen are fine, but in Imperial, they're absolute junk. So Paladin, or not Paladin, but for example, Cavalier, Halberdier push could be very devastating against a Malians player, and that would be tough to fight against. Alright, so with that, we are gonna have Franks versus Malians over here. I'm gonna turn on capture age. You might wonder why this window is actually really small over there in the top left corner. Capture age. Okay, capture age needed some motivation to get there. So I'm going to tell you that story because you might have seen that happening a couple of times. If you press Alt and Enter for your game, it's going to shrink it to a small window. And if you actually put that on your desktop, it's not going to render the game. And why is that important for me? It's important for me because it isn't eating system resources. So when you're using Capture Age, which is now publicly available, if you do Alt-Enter with your game, it actually puts into a small window, and it's consuming way less system resources than in the case of using it full screen. And that helps me keep the things lag-free. You might have seen that happening a couple of times. I'm trying to hide it as much as possible, but you could see the small window flashing there for a moment. Anyways, Nil Event Malians to counter Capoch's Franks. That is an interesting crossover because now Jordan is going to play the standard Frank play over here in blue to the south. To the north, it is going to be Capoch in yellow as Malians. And what I'm surprised about is that Capoch doesn't have the IL tag on his name. Is that intentional? Does anyone have information about that? Because Capoch was one of the founding members of Infinity Legends, a team with like Ryut, I think it was Ryut, Chris, Capoch, and Bhakti that started IL, and later on the entire Pet roster joined them, so now Project Belgium is also a member of IL, and so, but I'm somewhat surprised we're not seeing a clan tag, which makes me wonder if there was something going on in the background. He still had IL in the draft, but that might just be a leftover. I don't know if, well, I'll have to check on AOE2.net if he still has IL in his tag. AOE2.net name has Capoch still. In that case, is he using a different account? I'm not sure which account of he is using because he has like 4 accounts. And the AKA might be the one written, but indeed he's still in IL, so I'm not sure what happened to that clan tag over there. That's gonna be interesting to look into, but yeah, I haven't heard anything about that, and Jordan is going to restart here. This is not a drop, this is a restart from Jordan. And why did he call a restart? You can call it until the 4-minute mark. Not a lot of times we have seen restarts being called in the qualifiers so far. But why would you call a restart here? You call it because your map is sort of open, although this is not a bad map for Jordan. Didn't he find his other boar? I don't think that... No, he found his other boar. He found his sheep. Is he down by a couple of sheep? I don't think he is. His gold is safe, his berries are safe. Why is this a restart for Jordan? Because it definitely is a restart, another drop. So I don't understand this. This is an easily war, but this is a good map for Jordan. War here, war here, war here, war here. Obviously it takes some work, but this is actually good berries. This is actually a very, very good gold mine. The stone is bad, that's totally true, but like even this one is not that bad. This is what Jordan sees. He sees this forest, so he knows that this shouldn't really be hard to wall either. So if he wants stone, that's also possible. Yeah, it could be a drop, but like the timing of this one is what surprises me. So it might be a drop. We don't have an official confirmation on this just yet. I would understand if this was a drop, obviously, but there is nothing that justifies a restart from Jordan, that's for sure. Like, there's absolutely nothing that justifies a restart here. In fact, he doesn't just have an okay map, he has a very good map overall. Like, safe resources all over the place. This is a near perfect map for Jordan. If he wanted to, he would just wall this one off, this one off. He could secure all this part. This is a perfect map for Jordan. He didn't lose a vulture, he didn't lose his scout. There's absolutely nothing that justifies a restart here. So this is why I'm suspicious that indeed could be a drop. But as I said, we don't have an official confirmation on this one, so we'll have to wait it out to see if this was a real drop or not. There is a game here, but I think that's just a leftover game lobby. Nope, there is 130 spec delay on this, so this is already being played. We'll see if it's actually a drop. If it's a drop, this is not a drop. This is a restart from Jordan. Do you know why I know this? I'm going to tell you. You won't be able to see this. However, the thing is that I joined into this lobby. There is spectator delay going on. The spectator delay means that I am not joining the potentially bugged leftover lobby. I'm joining into a live game. And the game didn't prompt me that it also needs to download a saved game file. It would have actually prompted me to download the save game file, I think, as well, if I joined into the game where it was restored. And it's also no Britons. See, if this was a restore, there would be Britons as a civilization for the player that actually lost connection. Because it is showing Britons for everybody who is not owning the same save file. So the way that you tell who owns the save file is that he is the one that has his legitimate civilization shown. Everybody else will be Britons. This means that this wasn't a drop from Jordan. This was a restart. And if that's a restart, it's the worst ever restart I have seen. That was a perfect map for Jordan, and I didn't see anything that justifies a restart. I think there is one restart in the qualifiers, according to the rulebook, I think. But yeah, all signs point towards an absolutely new game. Holy smokes, Jordan, what did you do? Oh my goodness. Throwing away a game like that. Maybe they had the wrong settings. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Yeah, maybe it might have been a drop and they started from scratch. But honestly, if it's a drop, Jordan could have just said, like, if... Here's the deal. If Jordan... I am starting to see it now. Because now he's moving up immediately to lame resources. He's missing those sheep. Oh, that's so unfortunate for Jordan once again. He's on the far left. And he's looking for his opponent on the far right, missing those sheep by a tile. And he's definitely going for a lame attempt here. And if there's one reason why you would call a restart in that position, is if you actually want to lame your opponent. That's the only reason why I would actually say, okay, maybe he didn't manage to lame his opponent early on. But in that case, that wasn't a drop. And also, if it was a drop from Jordan, he could righteously say, hey, let's restore the game because I had a good map, for example, right? Obviously, he could just say, okay, I dropped, and let's restart from scratch. But for me, it more like feels like he actually called a restart here. We will never know, unless Robo tells us. I will actually check the caster's Discord. No one actually knows what happened here. But the thing is that he had a perfect map, and I feel like, based on the fact that he's now full-on laming mode, I have a feeling that this is actually a restart called by him. And there seems to be maybe a bit of a confusion for the players with the restarts, because many of you have said that T90 said there is no restarts in the qualifiers, but I think the rules say there is one restart per player in a best of 5. And based on the fact that he's full-on laming mode, I have a feeling that he wanted to do this in the previous game. The only reason why I would understand the restart in the previous game is if he failed a lame attempt. And he felt like he needed. Now, he actually is laming 3 sheep over here from his opponent. So that's a start. But if you take a look at Jordan's map now, it's much worse than it used to be. So if this was really a restart from Jordan, I feel like he got punished for that one pretty well. Because these barriers are not so great. This is a very open front now. Open over here as well. The gold is bad as well. I feel like if he really called a restart, as I said, I don't know what happened. No one knows, really. If he really called a restart for the sake of being able to lame, this was a disaster for him. Because he thrown away a perfect map for what is a disaster map, and well, he's gonna get 3 extra piggies, that's for sure. But his opponent is still able to push in some deer. The only lucky thing that Jordan is having over here is that I think that his map is not the only map that actually is worse than it used to be. So Capoch had a much better map in the previous game. This one is a pretty bad map overall. So front gold, double front stones, berries at the back at least, but this is not so great for Capoch either. In fact, Jordan might still have the better map, but we don't know what happened. I guess no one knows. Nerfox is saying it's a restart potentially, or at least he believes it's a restart. Apparently Capoch called it. Okay, now that could make sense. Although we haven't seen why Capoch would call it, and the tricky thing is that Jordan was the player resigning, and it's kind of by convention that the player calling the restart is the one resigning first. Okay, so it's Capoch calling it. Now that makes sense. That actually makes sense. I didn't see why he would do that. But like the weird thing was that, as I said, if you call a restart, usually I think the player, I'm not sure if it's set in the rulebook, but in like 99% of the cases, the player that is calling the restart is the one resigning first. You know, kind of to signal the opponent that yes, I'm indeed willing to do this, and it's not just like I'm typing re and you resign, and I'm just going to say I won the game. So that was the weird thing. If Capoch wanted to call a re, I'm not sure why he was the one that resigned later. Anyways, that caused quite a lot of confusion, as you see, and I wasn't the only one getting confused here. So fuel ages, we'll have a 20 pop fuel for both players. I'm not sure why Capoch called a restart, because we didn't even look at his map before. He had some idle time with the food wheels. Yeah, that could have been a thing. Maybe he ran out of sheep at the beginning and he felt like he needs a re for that. Anyways, it's gonna be double scouts build from the players over here. Capoch doesn't really have a great map over here, so I think that his restart didn't really work out because, as I said, his map is gonna be quite bad. That being said, I think he's doing the right walls to make this map happen. He has to wall just like that, stable over here. It would have been even better if the Brax is over here and the stable is over here, just to block that gold as best as possible. He had a forward gold on a hill and a bad secondary golds. I see now. So in that case, it seems like his map improved a little bit, but not by a considerable margin by any means. Scout inside for Jordan. The scout from Jordan actually took quite a lot of damage. Remember that Jordan actually has had extra piggies lamed as well, so he's actually having a very, very nice food eco. Now I'll have to get back to the flow of casting after the discussion of a restart. So the thing is that Jordan is not going for some big wars. This is very, very Doubt-esque. Like, Doubt did this in KOTD3, went for some super, super tiny but safe wars. In this one, he's going to play semi-open, whereas Capoch will be going for the wars. Many, many times it's said that it's like wars, no balls, but I feel like wars actually can save your life. As Jordan does have the Frankish HP advantage on the scout, but still, he took already quite a lot of damage, so he's not going to be able to take that fight anyways. Now Jordan is coming in with the Vos here, and I assume there is a lot to hit on Jordan's eco, to be honest, because the gold is open. That's going to be hard to protect. That wood line is very open as well for raiding, so yeah, if Jordan doesn't wall himself off like this, he's gonna be in trouble. Capoch could intercept that villager over there as well if he wanted to. Instead, he runs into the TC fire, lames a piggy. He realized that Jordan was not having a lot of villagers close to the TC, and there is the counter lame. Anyways, that is gonna be a villager killed as well. Capoch will take the hill. I don't think that villager is actually able to get back home. That's gonna be -1, unless the spearman saves the lady. Unless the spearman saves the lady, and that is gonna happen. Anyways, scouts are coming in here for Jordan. He'll get a lot of extra food to work with. Capoch had to transition to farms quite early. Luckily for him, he was able to squeeze in horse colors still. And now, he might be playing passive here. Look at this. It seems like Capoch wanted to go for scouts, but he realized, hey, my opponent is going for heavy scouts, and I've just managed to fool myself. I'm just gonna boom. And that's exactly what he's doing. And we have seen this many, many times in these qualifiers so far, that one player realizes, hey, I'm fully walled now against Franks. And one of the reasons why Franks is, in my perspective, a little bit one-dimensional as a Civ for Arabia is because it's so predictable that you're going for scouts. So if your opponent is fully walled, you are not going to be able to do anything against him unless you start making archers, and Capoch is already booming up for Castle Age. So, here is the archer range, and it's probably gonna be skirms at the beginning because Jordan doesn't have the gold to make archers. So what you do here is make one archer, you can squeeze one in and leave 5 gold behind, and then make a couple of skirms to try and deny the second layering. In the meanwhile, Capoch is making what is an absolutely awful mining camp over here. With such a wars, you shouldn't be making a mining camp like this, because you have to assume that the opponent is gonna come in with archers and skirms. And that means that this side of the gold mine would be denied. And the reason why you would make your mining camp over here is because that way the archers can't deny it. So that's a bad mining camp for Capoch. For these wars at least. Anyways, he had to transition to farming eco a little earlier and also pushed in less deer than his opponent did. So we'll see if Capoch will actually find out that there is skirms coming his way. Jordan is going very, very heavy on the feudal aggression. So this kind of has to do some damage here for Jordan. Otherwise, he's gonna be in trouble, and Jordan could indeed even tower this gold mine. Have I mentioned that the mining camp location is awful? See, you're repositioning your villagers over here. You should have started by making a mining camp over here at the beginning, and then you wouldn't have to reposition your villagers from this side to this side. Small things, but those small things matter, because that one archer is going to be extremely annoying when it comes to being able to access this gold, as Capoch will need to react to the skirmisher and needs to start making scouts, something that he seemed like he wanted to avoid, because he wasn't making army for the majority of the game. Now what he's going to do, though, is get the scouts out, intercept the archer, and that way, because Jordan doesn't have more archers right now, he's gonna be able to pick off the scouts with the spearman. Here come the scouts trying to intercept the archer. Spearman also joining the fun. Nice micro over there from Capoch, intercepting the archer. And is there any archers coming in here for Jordan? Yes, he's making more archers. So there could be more in this one. Still, resources are looking pretty close. I think Capoch might actually be able to beat his opponent to cast age here by a bit. Not by a massive margin by any means, though. Jordan already has quite a lot of villagers on gold, 14 on farms as well with horse color, and I'm not sure if this was intentional from Jordan to let those spears and scouts inside, as he's losing one scout over here. The scouts will run inside. There isn't really a lot to kill here. Most of these villagers are high HP, so I would be surprised if these two scouts would actually find someone to kill. And Jordan with nice quick walls, preventing the spearman from running deeper into his eco. Scouts will still run around. And at least what you could achieve with this one is that Capoch could actually scout Jordan's base, which is extremely important. Look at that. Capoch is a very, very good scouting on Jordan's base. He knows what back resources Jordan has. He knows that if he's trying to starve his opponent out of resources, then that's going to be pretty tough, because Jordan has safe gold and safe stone at the back. Anyways, double stables coming in here. Slightly better castlage time for Jordan. But there is one difference. Jordan is making archers, now getting fletching, which makes me wonder if you're going to see a crossbowman play here. But it's much harder to get anything done with your early crossbows compared to early knights. Like, the thing is that the castage difference is not big enough for Jordan to be able to really use those crossbows before the opponent's knights would come in. I would think that a switch back into knights could still happen for Capoch, but Capoch also sees the fletching on those archers. So he should know that his opponent is probably gonna play archers and crossbows over here. And here comes the second range from Jordan as well. This was a smart move from Jordan. He waited until the spearman left before dropping that range, because he wanted to make sure that his opponent isn't seeing the second range, but that also delays the second range quite a bit. And as I said, Jordan's going to be sitting on like 5-6 archers. By the time the opponent reaches castle age, and soon knights will be coming out, and those knights will be pretty dominant against the archers. So I feel like this is a very, very good position for Capoch to be in. He's going to be pushed away from the gold. Once again, this gold mine is awful, and this should have been the first mining camp that was dropped anyways. Because that way, the archers can deny the gold miners, and that's why this should have been the first one. Coming in. Now, crossbow will come in. We'll see if Botkin is something that Jordan wants to squeeze in. Considering that he's double ranges, I assume that he wants to, and now crossbows with Botkin will be able to deny that one as well. Capoch up to castle, though. And I think he needs like 3 or 4 knights to clean this one up over here. Jordan is sending spearmen forward as well. That would be something to consider, indeed. He can't actually mix in or get the pikeman upgrade for himself, but Capoch is off from gold. So this is still going to be tricky, because if you are Jordan, you might even make a case for a pikeman upgrade here, because all you need to do is just deny gold. And right now Capoch will try to break out. He's 3 TCs, but none of these will be on a gold. And as I said, Capoch will just try to get a couple of knights on the field. Seems to reposition his villagers towards that gold mine, although I would have preferred if the TC goes up over here instead of over here. And with that, we are gonna have the knights going for a counterattack, interestingly. So instead of pushing off this aggression, Capoch says, okay, I'm just gonna go for other gold mine. The thing is that Jordan sees this. Jordan sees the villagers here, so he knows that this is coming up, and he will soon move his crossbows that way. Knights will be doing a counterattack, though, and Jordan doesn't have a lot here to defend against that, and those knights will get through those walls pretty easily, as they are graciously galloping close to the walls of the opponent. And Now there will be knights made over here, and it seems like even though Jordan knows about that gold, he's not sending any units over there, and there will be a considerable amount of knights over here to defend. Nice quick walls from Jordan as he have to defend against that aggression. It's 3 TCs for Capoch already, only 2 for Jordan, and it seems like he's mixing in monks to deal with the early knights, but there is more and more knights on the field, so a couple of monks won't really be that decisive. 7 knights right now for Capoch, getting 8 and 9 in right now. But yeah, Capoch is going to be in a bit of a trouble over here if that gold mine gets pushed. His knights are coming back from the other side. Tries to dive in on that monk, but that is going to be a knight that will probably get defeated. How did this not get converted? What happened here? What happened here? That monk was converted that knight for half a minute. Anyways, monk is being surrounded by a lot of crossbows here. I think there was a knight getting converted. A camel joins the party as well. Not sure what this camel is going to do against that many spearmen. And the spearmen are actually able to edge this out for Jordan. I don't think this is enough for Capoch. The spearmen are coming in here clutch. And there is still crossbows in here. And the spearmen, as I said, they're so helpful here. And boom, those vultures are running. You're running in the wrong direction, my friends. That's going to be a lot of dead vultures for Capoch. You send one knight to chase them down. I don't know why they weren't running in this direction, like delete the house and run to the TC. You could save half of them, but what is this? What is Capoch doing? And I was praising him for being so good in recent tournaments. This is like, I don't know, 1100 decision making. What is he hoping? What is he hoping in that he's gonna save these vultures by running to the map where, like, if it was only crossbows, maybe. But he's up against knights and scouts. There is no way that those vultures are saved. They will be killed one by one. And even though Capoch has been on 3 TCs and Jordan has only been on 2, Jordan is actually having the upper hand in terms of vulture numbers now. And I feel like this is something that, like, this is the moment where you could actually think about, if you're Jordan, getting maybe even the pikeman upgrade in. And getting a few vultures on stone. Now, Jordan is on 3 TCs as well. Get a couple of vultures on stone, and you can potentially think about a forward castle. One of the reasons why Franks are so dangerous is because if you give them a bit of an upper hand, they will drop a castle in your face right away. Now, that being said, Capoch is far from dead, but obviously, he's not in an ideal situation right now. So, eco upgrade-wise, he's alright. Eco-wise, he's also fine. But his gold mine is dangerously exposed, and as I said, all that Jordan needs to do is just mass his army, push this side, and drop a castle here on that primary gold, and I think Capoch is dead. If a castle goes up here, that denies this stone mine, this gold mine, and it potentially destroys the stables as well, which is going to be an added benefit over there. So, theoretically, Jordan could finish this game with 1 castle. Crossbows coming in here as well. We'll try to find some kills on those camels and knights. And look at this. Jordan is still looking for those vultures over there. There were quick wall attempts, whatever, but Capoch loses a lot of vultures. Capoch lost 9 vultures, didn't kill a single one from Jordan right now. And if you actually bring this matchup on 3 months ago, I probably say that Capoch is going to dominate Jordan, but Jordan also improved a lot, like an awful lot of improvement from Jordan has happened in recent memory. And that is also contributing to the fact that he's playing very competitive over here. Tries to get a conversion on a knight. Once again, RNG says no. But he's got 3 monks, he's got crossbows, he's got knights. The only thing I'm criticizing, or at least what I would criticize for Jordan, is potentially the fact that he's not going for stone. Because he could actually capitalize on his early military numbers advantage right now by castle dropping the opponent. I think that's what I'm mostly curious in. Anyways, that is going to be stone being mined by Capoch. I wonder if he wants a defensive castle, because he might know that trouble is coming his way. Now Jordan is sending vultures to stone, and once again Capoch has to run for his life. Jordan still has way more vulture idle time than his opponent does, but now Jordan will actually commit to this one with knights, with monks. 3 monks here actually means so much. There's going to be a 3rd stable coming in here for Capoch, but barracks going down, and I don't think that actually is going to open up enough, as this is also a nice little hill for Jordan to hold. So, we will see what he can do. Eventually, Capoch will try to take 1 engagement over here. Knight pops out, immediately gets molten by the crossbows. And Capoch once again has to go back for this one. But look at this, this is smart from Jordan as well. Keeping 1 spearman here to just have a vision on that position is so important. Now here comes the push. Some monks are trying to convert 3 different units. Gets 1 conversion, gets 2, gets 3, I think. It was at least 2 conversions, potentially more. Capoch diving in with everything he's got right on the heel. Knights on the way for Jordan as well with +2 defense. It's +1/+2 from Capoch. He might actually be having enough here, or does he? He does not. He does not. It's still crossbows. It's 33 military against 7. Capoch is dead. Capoch is actually dead, and he taps out. Jordan sort of pulling an upset in the first game over here, because I don't know what happened to Capoch. He didn't really have a good gold mine here. I'm gonna give him that. And he got lame. That's true as well. But at the end of the day, he just got outplayed by Jordan's archers play here. So really, I don't know why he was running in this direction with the Voyagers on gold. And if you think about that, if he starts making this TC over here instead, I think he could have gotten that TC up by the time the crossbows arrive, and he would have been on a TC on a gold. The problem that Capoch had was that he didn't have a TC on a gold, which means that all of his gold could be denied. And even though he had 3 stables, he was struggling to produce knights because he had to run his gold miners from this point to this point. So, game number 1 in the hands of Jordan over here. And as I said, I predicted 3-1 for Capoch here, but Jordan is gonna say no. So, and I think the interesting thing here is that on the home maps of Jordan, and even potentially Capoch's home maps, I think the strategy advantage is in the hands of Jordan, because he's a member of Gamer Legion, he's gonna be helped out by other teammates, and I know that he's gonna have a couple of strategies. He knows exactly that he's getting one of the toughest opponents that he can get. I think Capoch is the strongest player on this bracket, right? So Jordan's gonna have to use all the tricks that he can to get through him. I will have to check, but I think where is that? Max is also on this bracket. But honestly, based on recent tournament performances, I think Capoch is far better than Max. I haven't seen Max's series yet that he has played in this qualifier. I assume it's Max. Please no spoilers, because I want to cast that for YouTube. But anyways, this bracket has, other than Jordan, it has Max running and Capoch. And I would think that the strongest player from all of them is Capoch by far. So if Jordan wants to use his tricks, he kind of has to use his tricks right now, I would say. So Franks are gone for Jordan, winning it out. Once again, the Frankish power showing here. Look at this. This isn't updated, but now it's going to be 10 wins, 5 losses, 66% win rate. Malians will be dropping down to 2 wins, 7 losses, which is a less than 25% win rate. Anyways, this means that we're actually going to the home map of Capoch here, which is either Cross or Bay, and I feel like Jordan's got better civilizations for both. Like, for Bay, he's got Mongols or Lithuanians. Italians being sniped is a huge thing, because Italians is sort of a counter pick to Lithuanians on Bay. And I think if it's Bay, it's Lithuanians. If it's Cross, it's Huns. And I have no idea what Capoch is planning on these maps. Like, probably Japanese for one of them. But what is the other civ? Like, I think it's Japanese for Cross, Byzantines for Bay, and Koreans for Islands. But I feel like Capoch got massively outdrafted over here as well. If you take a look at the civs, the Vikings were lost by Jordan, but he's got Berbers for Islands, which is a completely satisfactory water civ. Especially against the civ like potentially Byzantines or Koreans, Berbers could be very nice on water as well. Somewhat surprised there is no Portuguese, but I feel like Jordan's draft is something I like a lot more now that I look at it. And the thing is that you also have to consider that if now every player just wins their own home maps, Jordan's gonna win the series. And we're going to Michael Bay over here with the Lithuanians versus Japanese matchup over here. We have 40 seconds left from the spectator delay. So Lithuanians versus Japanese, that's an interesting one. Latest versus Samurai, so to say. And the battle of the strong and very, very fast gathering fishing ships from the Japanese versus the fast dock play from Lithuanians. I don't know what's up with you about this, but I feel like I like Lithuanians a little bit more on this map. That being said, it depends on the water engagement that you're taking, and preserving your fishing eco in the middle of the combat is going to be easier for Capoch, that's for sure. Lithuanians win rate still insane. I don't know the exact stats, but it's a good question. Bay. Lithuanians, yes. Lithuanians have 6 wins, 2 losses on this map for 67% win rate in the qualifiers. On this map, Japanese have been played 6 times, 4 wins, 2 losses for 57% win rate. So both of these series are actually pretty outstanding in win rates. In fact, other than Celts, which have only 1 game played and 100% win rate, so the sample size is too small. From the more frequently picked civilizations on Bay, the 2 highest win rate civs are Japanese and Lithuanians. There is no civ matchup chart, so we won't be able to take a look at that, unfortunately. Would be fun to see if there was any civ matchups like that. Anyways, here it is. Capoch, so we got Venivero, thank you so much for this new sub as well. I appreciate your support. Thank you, thank you. And for whatever reason, Capture actually didn't react to the game launching. But no worries, we're probably 20 seconds behind. So, Capoch as Japanese in yellow on the left, right side is going to be Jordan as blue in Lithuanians. As you see, this is fast lumber camp. Now, the fast lumber camp is not the fastest way of doing the fast dock strategy. You can do fast lumber camp and then go for a dock, but what you can also do is an even faster dock with the straggler trees being chopped down. So you chop down the stragglers and you go for a fast dock. We got Stro Emperor as well for the 4 months sub. Thank you so much as well to you. What is up with the people today? I appreciate it so much. Look at that. Abducted Platypus is like, I'm done with those colors on the minimap for the stone mines. I'm going to translate that message. That means that the next version of Capture Age will have a slightly darker stone signs on the minimap. So, what do we have here? We have the fast dock coming in here for Jordan. One of the reasons why you pick Lithuanians on hybrid maps. This fast dock strategy, I think Hera might have been the first one that actually played this one some time ago. Well, it was quite a long time ago already. I'm not even sure when it was actually played first, but it was last year, like middle of last year or so. It was mainly played on Cross, when I think Cross was in the ranked map pool, and lame, and that should be something that does not work out for Jordan. That shouldn't work out for him. That is a pretty obvious laming attempt here, yet he is still going on with it. Capoch trying to block the boar right now, and the boar diaggros. Failure. That was a big failure here. And that actually hurts for Jordan quite a bit, because you know what Capoch can do now? He can just chase that scout. And the thing is that if your scout has a lower HP now, what can happen is that your opponent can actually try forcing a fight against your repair villager once you have it in fuel age. And that's a huge thing. The other thing that Capoch can do is just harass these fishing ships here with this scout. That's why you don't want to lose HP. This map is not good for laming, because if you lose HP on your scout, your opponent will just harass your fishing ships, and you won't be able to punish him for it because your scout is too weak to fight. That being said, Jordan will be able to take that sheep just in the final moment. Let's see if Capoch actually tries killing it. Capoch actually tried killing the sheep, and he will. Or will he? Nope, he does not. He's just trying to send that sheep to the corner. Now, I think Jordan's gonna be able to find that. Anyways, now we're gonna have a standard galley rush from Jordan. You see that this is the fast dock advantage that you're getting from Lithuanians. You already have 2 fishing ships out when your opponent has none. Second board coming in just now for Capoch, a little bit delayed because it had to walk back to his original position, but it's gonna be fine. Anyways, Capoch has an okay-ish looking map. The thing I don't like is this gold position, but he's got a lot of wood lines at the back, which is very, very helpful. Oftentimes this map is a lot more open on the front, and you have way less wood on the back. Also back gold, so as bad as Capoch's first map was, I feel like this one is very, very good for him. He doesn't necessarily even need this gold mine immediately. This one is also satisfactory for him. Other side, Jordan's map is much, much worse. There is no safe wood at the back, and Capoch now is trying to take revenge on Jordan for that lame. Eats a lot of damage, but fails to block the boar, so the Voyager is going to be successful bringing that one in. So Jordan's gold is on the front, Jordan's stone is on the front, which hurts really badly, and Jordan doesn't really have a safe gold, in fact, so Jordan really has to use that stone mine or so to wall, because this is going to be the gold mine he has to mine. in this one. Anyways, we will have a few glitch coming in here. I think slightly faster for Jordan, indeed. A couple of seconds for him, although you have to keep in mind that there was some PC idle time for him. So I think at the end of the day, he's going up at 24 villagers, 23 for Capoch, but that is only a villager lead for Jordan because he's got more fishing ships. So he's actually going for very, very early and aggressive fishing here. Oftentimes you make just 2, 3, 4 fishing ships at maximum. Jordan is going for 5, so for me it kind of feels like he wants to get as much food as he can from his fishing eco before it could potentially be pushed by a water aggression. That's what I'm thinking here. So he will try to take as much food as he can. Fuel times will be pretty close. In fact, Capoch is taking over in fuel time by just a split second. Second dock coming in here for both players. But as I said, the tricky thing here for Jordan is that for him, killing the opponent's fishing ships is much harder than it is for Capoch to kill his. Which means that Jordan's going to have to be a little bit tricky to keep those fishing ships alive. The second dock position is actually pretty nice, as the scout will try delaying that dock a little bit. The scout is too weak to actually take the fight against the villager, but you can actually harass that will and delay that dock a tiny bit. So what you could do is bring your fishing ships to this pond and kind of spread them out. So even if your opponent is getting the temporary numbers advantage on water, he's not able to hit all of your fishing eco at the same time. Instead, you distribute them between 2 or 3 ponds, and that makes sure that you're not losing all your fishing ships at the same time, rather than, just losing 1 or 2 instead of losing all of them potentially. Anyways, Fire Galley is coming in here for both players. Capoch's gold is looking a little low, but that is because he already queued up 2 Fire Galleys. He'll have a head start at that. It's only 26% against just 13%. Woes are coming in here for Capoch as well, so he's making sure that he's not going to get surprised by a land push. And speaking of being surprised by a land push, Capoch might actually get attacked here on land as well. So one of the reasons why I think Jordan went for this heavy fishing eco is because he wants to have a combined water and land push. That's actually pretty hard to afford. But if you can squeeze in a couple of archers, that could work nicely. It seems like Capoch has similar plans over here, as the Fire Galleys pop out now for him. So we will see what's up with this. So, what are the walls by Capoch? You can't wall there. You can't actually wall this one off. But it is very risky for any player to get through these shallows, because there could be a demo inside the dock. And that demo could sink the entire army. So even though this is not wallable, it is not really viable for players to run past that, at least not in early game. In late game, that could be a thing, but in early game, it's too risky, especially with archers. Anyways, it looks like we're going to have a range here from Capoch. Jordan will be able to scout that, I believe. In fact, he does see the range. I think Capoch has also seen the barracks, right? No, Capoch doesn't see it, so Capoch is just trying to play for archers himself. Interestingly. In the meanwhile, Jordan does have 4 fishing ships, 5 even, whereas his opponent only has 4, and that was a nice little engagement at the beginning from Jordan. So it seems like he's having the temporary advantage on water, and that helps immensely. There comes a demo. Demo is gonna be nice splits from Jordan, very, very nice splits. And at the end, it's a 1-for-1 trade of a demo to a Fire Galley, but that's not a win. In fact, you don't want to trade a Fire Galley to a demo. That's not really cost efficient. So Spearman coming out here from Jordan, as he's expecting scouts, but there will be archers coming. The thing is that Jordan's base isn't really walled, and now he's going for archers himself. The water is really passive, but that I think helps Jordan, because remember that he's got more fishing ships than his opponent does, and even though these fishing ships gather faster, that doesn't compensate for 2 villagers advantage that Jordan is possessing right now. Jordan and Capoch both have double bid-axe, as the demo is coming in. Oh, that could have been huge. That could have been huge, almost sinking the repair village. I think that now Jordan will try to dive in and snipe the repair will. A lot of these Fire Galleys are weak now. Jordan trying to get in. And really, another demo comes in here from Capoch. Jordan getting his own demos in. And he could sink this entire fleet pretty easily. Capoch could demo snipe the fish, though. That's going to be... Demos coming in from both sides, and Capoch trying to finish off that demo. Jordan ends up having a good trade over here, sinks a Fire Galley, and he also sinks a demo. Now Capoch has to split away with his own ships over here. Nice shot over there from Jordan as well. And Jordan seems to be slowly gaining control over the water here. Even though now Capoch comes in here with the snipe. That is huge for Jordan. I just jinxed Jordan so hard. I just jinxed him so hard. Now, if you're Jordan, you want to kill that Voyager. It's a 2 HP will, and indeed there it goes. So Jordan still has a 2 Voyagers lead, which is something worth pointing out. Capoch will unpop the archers pretty soon though. And now Jordan is coming in here to finish off the fishing eco. But as I said, it takes so much time to kill the fishing eco of the opponent with fire galleys. Look at this. You're so slow at getting killed. Still, at the end of the day, Jordan does possess a 2 Voyagers lead, which is a nice little addition. 11 on food versus 7 on food, as we have some minor lag spikes over here. And we will have even more lag spikes. What happens? What's happening? We're still good memory-wise. It's not really a memory leak issue that Capoch likes to have. So I'm not sure what's up with that. Anyways, Jordan is on 2 fishing ships, his opponent is on 3, but I think Jordan is going to go down to 0 fishing ships soon, which means that Jordan should start thinking about just finishing off the opponent's fishing ships with 1 or 2 demos over there. Anyways, it is 3-4 archers now for Capoch with fletching. Jordan only has 2 or 3, but he has a skirms, and those Lithuanian skirms are still pretty devastating over there. But now Jordan is slowly losing water. One of the reasons why I don't necessarily like this map is because I feel like after the water fights, it kind of feels boring. So everybody is going to be walled after the water fight, and there is going to be just pretty much booming happening. So there's a second range coming in here for Capoch. So both players will start transitioning to land. And now it seems like Capoch's resources are looking much better because the fishing eco starts kicking in here. The fishing eco that he has is an advantage over Jordan. At the end of the day, the Voyager count is still even, but fishing ships are worth a lot more than a Voyager when there is actual fish in the close vicinity available. So really, now Jordan is going to have to go for... well, maybe his own fire guys are going to be enough because he still has 4 fire guys against just 3 over here. In the meanwhile, archers taking this fight over here. Jordan trying to take some of those down with the skirms. Skirms do not have a +1 defense. Indeed, that is a good debate. That's something that we had a debate on in Hidden Cup 40. That at some point, fighting for the water isn't going to be worth it anymore. So when the fish starts running low, winning the water will not give you anything immediate. In fact, the fish is so low that, yeah, Capoch is going to get the fish here now. But after that, he's going to have to add fish traps. Obviously, he will be able to afford it at some point, but that's going to take some time. And at the end of the day, look at the resources for Jordan. Even without using the market, he's able to go up over here. He went for a lot of voyages on berries, and now all of those wheels are idle. But he is seemingly cleaning up these archers, and he's going up to Castle Age here, whereas his opponent isn't really doing that, to be honest. Previously, Mongols was by far the best on this map. Has that map been changed? Yes. The reason why Mongols were the most popular here is because instead of having separate deer patches like these, basically each side had one big deer patch of like 8 or 10 deer. So like imagine if these 2 deer patches were combined. And the reason why Mongols were so strong is you just send out your voyagers and you will just get an insane amount of food from hunt. Mongols are still extremely strong on this map, but they are way less overpowered than they used to be. Italians are a lot more viable now here. Lithuanians are a lot more viable. Not a lot more viable, but at least, as I said, the map is a lot more balanced. Just like Slopes became. Slopes also was basically an Indians map all the time as well. In Hidden Cup 3, they changed it in a way that it is much more balanced for other civs as well. Anyways, now Jordan has lost water, but Capoch is gonna have 2 fishing ships over here, fish traps, which is a nice little extra eco, but it's not something that's decisive as an advantage. And the real question is now, what is Jordan gonna do in Castle Age? Because it seems like he's going for skirms. He's beating his opponent to Castle Age by a minute or so, and he has a stable out, so we could see Knight and Skirm from Jordy Boy, as the skirmishers will pop out right now. +1 defense is just coming in. Can you one-shot fish trap with demos? I think you can. Although, I'm not sure if it's actually worth it, to be honest. You could technically try demo snipe, but these fishing ships are also rather weak, so you might as well just sink the fishing ships. It could be easier. Anyways, Botkin is in, or it's gonna be in a moment for Jordan. And he's going heavy on the skirmisher play. One of the things that I like about Lithuanians here is that they're a lot more versatile than Japanese are. Japanese cavalry in Castle Age is perfectly fine, but Japanese cavalry in Imperial isn't really great. So Japanese are a little bit one-dimensional towards archers. They do have great infantry as well, but something like a knight skirm play from Jordan could actually be able to punish this one really well. Anyways, there's a second TC coming in, and Jordan is gonna play Monastery fast over here. So he wants to grab some relics for himself, and he's still pushing water. I like this. He made one more fire galley. It's not really a big deal, but if he can actually sink 2 fishing ships, that's perfect in that case. It looks like we'll have knights coming in from Capoch that might actually catch Jordan off guard. Soon, Jordan is going to realize he's up against knights because these archers aren't being upgraded to crossbows. These scrims do have Bodkin arrow, as they are juking those projectiles amidst the lags. So here come the knights. Jordan is a little bit unprepared for this one. Not a lot of upgrades on these guys, but these are still more or less feudal age skirms. So luckily for Jordan, he's got faster moving skirms, so he can run away from this one a little easier. Anyways, there is no knights from Jordan right now. So it is just skirmisher defense into 2 TCs plus relic collection, now 3 TCs. Whereas Capoch is going to play with 3 TCs as well, but he's putting a little bit more emphasis on pushing his opponent here. I like Capoch's play a little bit more in this one, who also made 2 more fire galleys to just make sure that his fishing eco is safe. Now Jordan is going for Elite Skirm. Monk coming in here now. Elite Skirm and the Monk combined could actually be nice over here. Jordan pretty unlucky with the conversion RNG, as Elite Skirm will kick in. Now those are crossbows, so Jordan's gonna have to be careful. Monk goes down. There is another Monk on the right side, but that's far away from the knight to be able to convert it. And I think Capoch will once again try to dive on the Monk. Skirmisher gets picked off before they upgrade to Elite Skirm. And Jordan only has 1 range over here, and it's something that's worth keeping in mind. Here's 3 TCs, but his opponent also has 3 TCs, but I like Capoch's army a lot more. So let's see what Capoch is planning. A forward siege workshop would not be something that's unprecedented, I would say, over here. So let's see if we have any forward villagers being brought in. Now, while we're at this, I am going to restart Capture Age, because I feel like the lag spikes could be solved that way. So while you were looking at that, there is not really much happening, but I'm just going to give you the game over here in the middle while Capture Age is restarting, so that we have a little bit less lag. But that's basically it. What map is this? The map is called Bay, just like the guy named Michael, and he is making movies. This one is called Bay, but also nicknamed Pants for its shape. You can also see the map name over here all the time. I just had to restart Capture Age. Anyways, there's the forward siege workshop I was talking about. There's a couple of skirms, but I feel like Jordan is sort of underinvesting into his army over here. Capoch deletes the knight to avoid the conversion. And Jordan right now is sitting on 1 relic. Capoch isn't really collecting relics, which is something that I don't really like from him. I think he should be at least denying relics here. Like, make a crossbow here. Make a crossbow here or so. Like, I like this knight, for example. Just deny those relics, because if Jordan gets to 3, 4, 5 relics here, that would be an absolute disaster for Capoch. Jordan, I don't think that he has an idea that the Mangonel push is coming his way, and he's not on stone, so he's gonna struggle a little bit stopping that one for the time being. A siege workshop, obviously, from Jordan would solve the issue, but still, that's quite a lot of crossbows, and Mangonels could actually cause a lot of headache for Jordy boy. Neither of the players is on stone right now, so castles are just a distant rim, and now Jordan sees the siege workshop, immediately reacts with his own. His monks are also healing the lead skirms. The skirms here now having +2 defense. Monks will have sanctity as well, which means that they will survive a direct Mangonel shot. Was scary for Jordan, and another hit. Jordan! That might be a game over here, my friend. That might be a game over. Because now it is 28 army against 13, a siege workshop that is denied, which means that there is no Mangonels from Jordan right now. And as I said, he's not on stone, so no defensive castle anytime soon. And there is enough crossbows to kill knights. That's the thing, that crossbow Mangonel is a much better army than knight and skirm at this stage, especially with no siege support. And that's already 1 TC that's slowly going down. Jordan will try to mine himself some stone, but 5 on stone here is just going to take forever to get to a castle. And now Capoch is going a lot more aggressive. I feel like Jordan played a little too passive on land, as villagers will be attempted to be killed. Now Jordan is sending more villagers to stone, but Capoch could actually deny that relatively easily, to be honest. Still, just 8 elite skirms on the field, double the army right now for Capoch. And it's not like this is an all-in from Capoch. That's the beautiful thing about this one. It's not an all-in. He's actually playing just as heavy on the eco as Jordan does. The only thing I don't like for Capoch is that he doesn't have the ballistics upgrade, but that's a very, very nice mangonel position. You deny the stone, and Capoch knows exactly that one way to stall out a push like this is to drop a defensive castle. So Capoch knows exactly that he needs to just pressure that stone mine over there and try to make sure that his opponent isn't able to get a castle up. Now, Jordan actually made another siege workshop, and he's gonna come in from this side, and Jordan is also making a lot of skirms in this range, something that we didn't see. So this means that now Jordan is buying himself some time over here. Mangonel gets a shot out, misses the target, another Mangonel will be taken down, and Capoch saves that Mangonel at 2 HP, and once again, like, Jordan is gonna need forever to get to a castle over here with that stone count still. Now, it seems like one skirmisher actually went in and killed that Mangonel. It was so low HP. Mangonel shot coming in here for Jordan. Capoch doesn't react in time and loses one Mangonel. Jordan takes down another one and saves this one over here. As good as the Mangonel shots were for Capoch, now Jordan is popping out with the skirms and there is no Mangonel support. A lot of those crossbows will bite the dust. Knights also coming in here. No defense upgrades on them, but they do have a +1 from the relics, not even bloodline, so those knights will actually be pretty much a junk pile. But the Mangonel is mispositioned from Capoch, and that will be intercepted by the knights of Jordan. Jordan getting a huge Mangonel hit over here as well. Coming back into the game is gonna be Jordan, and those skirms also move faster. And that means that he's just eating up those crossbows really fast over here. Now 4 Rogers will die as well. And Jordan is piling up stone. This is the moment where Jordan could actually try to say, okay, we could potentially think about a castle here to secure the middle of the map. Now, this is not over yet. Capoch is thinking about going into Imperial, and Jordan isn't really close to doing that. But you also have to keep in mind that Jordan could actually start picking up relics. Now, he was busy not dying, but this is the moment where you are bringing in your monks and try to pick those relics up. Jordan making a ram over here to take down the siege workshop here. The Mangonel actually got killed by some fire ships over here. Capoch only has 2 fishing ships on the pond, and there is a defensive castle from Capoch. After that's finished, Capoch is going imp, so Jordan is still a little bit behind in that respect, but we shouldn't underestimate the fact that he's gonna have Lithuanian Cavalier, even though preemptively we might see Capoch taking into Halberdier now, because he might expect the cavalry play from Jordan. So we might see, indeed, here come the barracks for the Japanese Halberdier. Now, that could be a castle that's delayed, and if that castle is delayed, that also means that Capoch is gonna be later to Imperial than he wants to. No, the castle goes up. It does go up, right? This is an overcommitment from Jordan, if you ask me, because that castle is about to go up. Indeed, Capoch is pulling more vultures. Jordan is making his own castle, as he's actually clicking up Imperial at the same time as his opponent does. And the late game composition of Lithuania is something I like a lot more for Capoch, or for Jordan than Capoch, as Jordan is already looking for relics over here, as Capoch wants to see what's going on within the villager and dropping outposts, as that's a conversion as well from Jordan. He's gonna pick up relic number 2 really easily, and he's going for this one. That's also smart. He wants to be at +4 with relics, and I'm not sure how Japanese Halberdiers do against Cavalier with +4. I would still think that they're okay, but if there is a lead skirm or hand cannon and those +4 knights, they will be devastating. Defense upgrades coming in here as well, and you already have pikemen coming out here for Capoch. He wants to play pikemen and arbalest. Apparently, he picks up relic number 2 over here alongside relic number 3. Jordan could very well be on 4 relics here, which would be a very nice late game advantage for him. Not just for the attack upgrades, but also for, you know, just general purpose gold income. 4 relics against 1 is a nice low advantage that you can have. Anyways, he's trying to bash his way into the opponent's base. Might have been a little bit of an overcommitment, but at least he sees what his opponent is up to, and he sees the pikeman with the moonwalking knight. And he's also lowering those pikeman numbers, so I think that's actually something I like. Pick off a couple of pikemen, a couple of crossbows, you lower the opponent's army numbers, as Capoch tried to trap that army over there, but that's gonna end up being a failure. Or a husbandry. Ballistics is also coming in, so we will see continued addition of skirmishers. And in the meanwhile, as I said, there is going to be full Lithuanian elite skirm alongside Cavalier that will be having an awful lot of attack already. As this is a unit composition that's looking very, very good for Jordan. He could be up 2 games in this series if this happens. He's also taking a very, very good engagement over here right now. Capoch didn't pay attention, and Capoch is losing all his army. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Capoch, that's a disaster. He was just about to upgrade them to ARBs, but that's even worse now. And military numbers are still pretty close, but the army quality is going to be better for Jordan very soon, as he's getting knights out, and soon these knights will be even more dangerous. He's prioritizing the skirms up right now because his opponent is Pikeman and Arbalest soon. Here is Thumbrain coming in for Capoch. But Jordan will eventually get heavy cavalry in as well. And if he runs into your eco with like 10 cavalier of full upgrades, he's just going to wreck you. Let's see if he's actually going for more cavalry. He's getting another castle in. Even late, this could be something you consider here, but I think cavalier is probably an easier play for him. He's dropping castles everywhere. He's got 20 on stone, so he really wants to secure map control for himself. He's not confident he's leading decisively here. And one thing that we have to keep in mind is that the Japanese unique tech Kataparuto is going to help you immensely when it comes to a trap war. That being said, that there is little trap snipe potential from Capoch over here with like anything other than his own trap. If Jordan brings in Voyagers to repair, that's going to be fine. That's an early tower shields upgrade from Jordan for +4 on his skirmishers. Those are Arbalest now, and you ideally want to wait until at least Tower Shield kicks in, but preferably Ring Archer Armor as well. As Capoch misses that shot, second trap also is going to miss that shot. Nope, that's going to be a trap dead. That was a little bit sloppy from Jordan. There was no Villagers supporting that trap. There is no demos coming in from either side right now. It is worth noting that Jordan's gonna drop a castle here, and what he's playing for, I believe, and now I'm starting to see the tendency with the stone villagers, he's trying to drop castles all the way across this point, because most of the fighting will be happening here in the middle, but what you do by dropping these castles is you cut off Capoch from gold, and this is exactly what Jordan is doing. Dropping a castle here, dropping a TC here, and he's patrolling knights over here to prevent his opponent from accessing gold. Now, it's not like Capoch is gonna need an awful lot of gold, but the reality is indeed that Capoch is slowly running out of gold here, as he's sending all his army to stop this one. Now, this castle might actually go denied over here, because I don't think that those vultures will finish on time, but the trap is being set up right now, first trap on the way for Jordan, and he could get some more traps. Battering ram is coming out as well. I think Jordan also knows that this castle may go denied, because he's sending more vultures. He's a teammate of Lord Doubt over here, and I feel like we're going to see that beautiful face on that castle indeed. Jordan indeed has a lot of idle time. Like, the macro behind this one is really I'm not gonna say sloppy. So I think Jordan is actually outplaying his opponent because his strategy and his timing is a little bit better. However, indeed, the macro behind this one for Jordan is quite sloppy, I would say. That 2 hours idle time is brutal, and what is even more brutal is that his skirmishers are attacking the outpost while the villagers absolutely get massacred. What are you looking at, Jordan? Oh, now that is a doubt castle. That is a doubt castle. It has to go up still to be a real doubt castle, but that was an absolute disaster. It looks like we're gonna have light cav coming in here for Capoch to go for raids. Now, those light cav aren't really great, because as Jordan is actually trying to tower rush that gold mine to prevent his opponent from accessing gold. So Capoch is preparing for an absolute trash push. I'm not sure what those traps are doing, but I think those traps are like... they will just get killed very, very easily here by a couple of light cavs. Eventually, the castle is going to go up here. Cavalier in for Jordan, and one thing that we shouldn't underestimate is that Jordan has got 60 army against 36, and Halberdier is only just now coming in for Capoch, which means that he's going to get overrun by Cavalier that already have +5 attack, and Iron Casting is just coming in. That's going to be +6. That's 4 relics, right? Yeah, that's 4 relics already. And without Halberdier, well, good luck stopping that. Even with Halberdier, that's going to be tough with the skirmishers around. The light cap trying to snipe the traps over here. Japanese light cav, as I said, are missing the final armor upgrade as well, so skirmishers actually deal some damage to them as well. At least better than nothing, sort of a thing. Now, Jordan is losing the front of his base over here. He doesn't really have a lot to fight against that one, and that's gonna be something that he has to be careful with, but he can soon start running Cavalier into his opponent's eco, as Jordan now pulls a lot of vultures to get this one repaired. Jordan at 200 pop, Capoch 185, but Capoch has little access to gold now, and as I said, traps are taking out the stables, and hand cannoneers on the way for Capoch. I don't know why, because hand cannoneers don't kill skirms, and hand cannoneers don't kill cavalry. So really, I'm not I'm not 100% sure what's up with this. Jordan has 17 Voyagers repairing, which is not enough against free traps. So this castle is going down. Paladin coming in here for Jordan. And I feel like Jordan is gambling on dying here slower than he's actually killing his opponent. He's got quite a lot of building upgrades though. Look at this. 6,000 HP. If he pulls 5 more wheels to repair that castle, he's gonna be able to keep that up. He's losing a lot of stone on that, and he lost all his cavalier charging into the Japanese halberdier, which obviously is everything but ideal. So I think now he wants to unleash the cavalier on that horde of traps. The castle is slowly going down, but because of the cavalier here, the what is that? The halberdiers had to reposition themselves. Now the cavalier, or soon to be Paladin, will try diving in. They just need to kill one trap, but it's too late. The castle goes down. And now Capoch's light cav are slowly eating those skirmishers over there. As I said, Capoch's light cav aren't amazing here because they don't have +4 defense, don't even have +4 attack over here. Whereas these skirms do have 10 pierce armor, so obviously they are like absolutely untouchable by arbs. Light cav should still do fine against that. I think the problem that Capoch is having is that he doesn't have the production of light cav. Like, he's floating a lot of food, but he's losing the buildings faster than he can replace them. And the surprise in the making, ladies and gentlemen, because the thing is that Capoch is in a back foot right now. 59 army against 28, and now Paladins will run straight through the dock. As I said, in early game, this is too risky to call. In late game, when your opponent has elsewhere to look at, you can definitely justify a move like this. This army is probably gonna fall for Jordan over time, but if you just bring these Paladins in here, Capoch will lose like potentially 20-25 Voyagers on food, which will completely cripple his food eco, rendering his ability to spam halberdiers and light cav pretty much impossible. The knights with +8 attack will just absolutely tear apart Voyagers, and you see that this is not something that you want to see. For Jordan, it would be better if he just ran around with the Paladins, but he's just going for the TC. Look at that TC melt. He's diving in right away. Voyagers will soon unpop, and he's just going to fight them. I still believe it would have been better for him if he just goes and kills Voyagers, but the TC is down, and there isn't really a lot of halberdiers right now to clean this one up, and so the Knights will keep killing Voyagers. Blast Furnace just coming in, but Jordan is flooding Paladins, and this map has a lot of gold, and one of the reasons why Lithuanians are so good on this one is because there's a lot of gold, so really Paladins is absolutely viable here, if you're able to control the left side of the map. And the other thing that I admire for Jordan, and this is something I talked about at the beginning of the series, that the Gamer Legion team members share some strategies with each other, share the thought process. And I think the thought process here was definitely something that not only Jordan thought about, but the entire Gamer Legion team has on this map. Dropping the castles in a way that you prevent your opponent from accessing the gold. And now it's 88 Voyagers for Capoch, 120 population against a 200 pop Lithuanian player with 4 relics. Jordan seems like he's grabbing game number 2 here. And it's not just a win, it's actually a pretty dominant win, to be honest. Other than that one big mangonel shot where his skirmishers died, everything else basically went in the favor of Jordan in this game, if you think about that. It got scary because those skirmishers died, but other than that, he's just absolutely tearing Capoch apart, and I have to say that this would be a huge upset if Jordan is winning this one this decisively. So, I was expecting a close series, but it's actually close in terms of all the games are competitive, but Jordan is playing really well, and the thing is that, as I said, this is a very interesting tendency to look at. Whichever player starts streaming, he actually starts improving in the game a lot as Capoch steps out. Ever since Hera started streaming, he has become one of the best players out there. Ever since Capoch started streaming, he also started to have very decent tournament performances like Red Bull, for example. Ever since Jordan went full-time on streaming and playing, he has been having some great tournament performances as well. Especially this one, 2 games up against Capoch. And as I said, I feel like this is the bracket where the top 4 players are Jordan, Capoch, Max, and Running. The thing is that I feel like with this performance, Jordan can take down either of them, especially considering that Max is really rusty, or so it feels like. And that means that Jordan is having a legitimate chance qualifying for the main event. And indeed, this is not the Jordan that we used to see half a year ago. Half a year ago, Jordan came back and he got clapped by rank 40, 50s on the ladder. But now he's actually beating up a pretty strong Capoch over here. Yes, exactly, that's the thing with the streaming, that it allows the full-time playing as well as trains to play in front of people. I think the other thing that is also very helpful when streaming is that you talk to the chat. So instead of just playing silent, you oftentimes explain what you are doing to the chat, and oftentimes it helps a lot understanding the game a little bit deeper as well for yourself. So being able to tell your chat, hey, I'm doing this right now, I'm doing this right now, helps sharpen your reactions when you're playing tournaments as well. You're going to be like as if you were talking to the chat. Oftentimes, when I'm just spectating games because, like for example on Red Bull, when I'm not able to cast, I'm just spectating games, oftentimes I find myself as well thinking about what I would say to my chat if I was actually casting. And I think something similar also happens here. If you just go through his mind quickly, what he would say to his chat, what he's doing and why he's doing it, that helps him think about the entire state of the game at that very moment. And that is very, very helpful at sharpening and like making your decision making better overall and like faster. So yeah, that is actually something that I also consider an important factor. And also the fact that indeed streaming is actually something that motivates you to do 6-7 hours of gameplay a day. That is also exactly something that if you had to have a second, like a job right next to it, you probably wouldn't commit 6-7 hours a day to streaming. If you commit 6-7 hours of the day for streaming because you get a good income from it, you get motivated to do that, then you are much easier spending 6-7 hours of gameplay time. And I would assume that what Nili is trying to do with his sort of full-time playing no casting approach is exactly the same thing. That he himself, I think, said that if he plays 5-6 hours a day, you are gonna get better, and that's true. 5-6 hours a day will actually get you better over those that aren't able to play that much. So, with that, Jordan is up 2 games against Capoch. This would be definitely a massive surprise, especially if this is a 3-0 here. Obviously, we are far from that. So, we have seen series where players were up 2 games and then suddenly things started to fall apart. We will see if that is the case over here as well or not. So, Jordan up 2 games, and that means that we're going for the home maps of Capoch, or the second home map, to be honest. So let's go for the Civ. That is Lithuanians gone for Jordan, and Japanese gone for Capoch. I would also like to point out, as I said, that for the map pool, I feel like Jordan actually outdrafted Capoch here, which is no surprise. Gamer Legion is one of the strongest drafting teams out there. So Capoch has Cross remaining, and that probably means it's gonna be Hans from Jordan versus what? What are you even using on Hans here? Have I casted? No, I haven't casted anything that was played yesterday. I was just super exhausted yesterday. And like, especially because today I had to wake up at 7:30 to cast the games because in my time zone, the game started 8 a.m. I decided to go to sleep early because I felt like if I actually just go and cast off stream, I will be completely dead, like mentally. And I expected today to be 6, 7, 8 hours of casting. We're right now at 5.5 hours, and we have one more set that's complete to go, especially because I will have to cast, well, I will have to, but I will be casting with T90, and that's gonna be also, like, when you are casting with a co-caster, I feel like or when I'm acting as a co-caster, let's say that, because I'm more like the co-caster of T90 than the other way around. So I also need to like pay more attention to what I say, don't screw things up. So that's what I'm mostly referring to. So anyways, game has started, so am I being told. And that feels like it's lies, or no, it isn't started. They're setting up the lobby right now. Those were lies. They're just setting up the game. Or at least according to the game itself. It has started? What? I can see a lobby with 1 player in it, and that's Jordan. Which means that it was either it must have been a restart then, I assume. Like, that's the only way. Like, I can show it to you if you want. There is actually a Jordan in a Hidden Cup cross Look at this. Look at this. Boom. Here it is. This is lobby browser, not games. Jordan was in the lobby like half a minute ago. He's still in there. The only lobby that it pops out is the Arabia game, which is a bugged lobby. So, nope. The game hasn't started. I can tell you this much. That's the official Jordan. And now Capoch also joined. Over here. E90 is casting. But what is he casting, man? It seems like it might have been a very, very fast restart. Okay, it was a restart then. Well, apologies that we missed it. I actually spoke too much, but one of the reasons why I'm not necessarily a big fan of the spec delay thing is because by the time you join in, oftentimes in the case of restart, the lobby disappears. Jordan's map was horrible. Okay, fine. Well, we didn't miss anything, to be honest, in that one. So we're just gonna wait until they launch up. I didn't expect them to launch the games up this fast. That's the tricky thing when you're a caster. Sometimes the players take 10 minutes to launch up a game and you are trying to, find filling content, try to discuss things to entertain the viewers until they are actually able to see the games. Other players launch up games in 5 seconds and you don't have time to talk between them. And it's really hard to evaluate how much you should talk. I can't just spam the refresh button all the time because then I can't show the draft whatsoever. So Huns versus Byzantines, I think somewhat predictable. The thing is that I like Huns here a little bit more than Byzantines. Byzantines are basically good for two things here. Number one, fire galleys. So Jordan's gonna have to be careful not to get his docks or not to get his pawns docked by Capoch. Number two, Byzantines can be good for a spear and skirm forward. That could be something as well. I think Huns ideally will want to play Fishboom scouts into triple range cav archers as the usual strategy goes. I'm going to quickly take a look at the statistics on what Huns have on this map. It was definitely one of the most picked civilizations by far on this map. Huns have been picked 10 times so far with a 50% win rate, so that is by far the most picked civilization in the game. The second most picked is Japanese with 6. We have 4 for Lithuanians, 4 for Malians, and 4 for Persians. Only 2 picks for Byzantines so far, but only one of them were actually used at the end of the day. Anyways, as you see, 30 seconds remaining out of the spec delay. For Cross or Four Lakes, whichever name you prefer, Jordan having a match point over his opponent here, as we will jump into the next game in a matter of moments. So, Jordan versus Capoch, last chance for Capoch to get into Hidden Cup. I felt like he was having a so strong performance in recent memory that I almost took it for granted that Capoch is going to at least be in the Decider series, but it seems like I was wrong, because Jordan is pulling up a huge performance so far, and it's not Capoch playing bad, Capoch is playing good. It is Jordan playing better than him in every aspect of the game, and one of the things that I would like to praise here for Jordan as we jump into game number 3 is his map awareness. In game number 1, he actually had a very good sense to being able to deny the gold mines. In game number 2, he actually had a very nice move to pretty much deny the gold once again from the opponent using the castles. He was able to transition to a very nice and Paldian raiding, so he didn't force a fight against the Halberdiers. He was using the mobility of his army as much as it was possible. And now in this one, we will see if he's once again going to use mobility as an advantage for him. And you guys have said that Jordan called a restart in a previous series because it was an awful map. I think this is a perfect map for Jordan. This is an almost dream scenario. So here it is. Gold at the back, berries at the back, which are always nice. Deer is easy to push. It is a relatively easy wall off as well. You can wall around your lake. This is extremely important because, as I said, earlier was Capoch's restart. You mean the previous cross? It couldn't be because, according to what you guys have said before, the Arabia game was Capoch's restart. And this had to be Jordan's restart then, because they have a maximum of 1 restart each. And I would believe that much more so than Jordan restarting Arabia in what was a perfect scenario for him. Anyways, so Jordan actually can wall around his entire lake, and that is extremely helpful for Jordan, because as I said, against Byzantines, you kind of have to expect your opponent trying to dock you for fire galleys, and oftentimes you're unable to wall around your base completely. Obviously, it takes some time, but what you want to wall off first, I believe, is like this little patch, and then this over here and this over here. Because if you are actually successful doing that, then you will be preventing your opponent from sneaking a Voyager up on your dock, and you will have an untouched fish boom without the need of making fire galleys. In contrast to that, I think Capoch will also be able to wall around his lake if he wants to. However, it is more straightforward for him to wall like this and wall like this, so there is a chance that he's going to leave an opening like that on the back of his lake. So on the north is Capoch in yellow Byzantines, and in blue is Jordan, potentially losing a Voyager here to the scout or not. Saves the will, and now Capoch is trying everything to get an upper hand over his opponent, but Jordan's reactions are once again razor sharp, I have to say. He has a lot more idle time than Capoch does. That's actually something that I have seen in basically all of the games. So the macro isn't necessarily quite there all the time for Capoch, or for Jordan. However, the fact that he is able to really use the map to his advantage, his perception, his reactions are actually helping him immensely in this one. I think that's the difference between the two players right now. So here is the dock coming in here, and I, in the long run, like Hans a lot more in this map. So the mobility advantage, especially in early to mid castle age, is going to be extremely important. Shouldn't Lithuanians also be good on this map? Yes, they are. If you don't use Lithuanians on Bay, you use them on this map. And one of the reasons why Jordan picks Lithuanians and Hans at the same time is because if he loses Hans to the opponent's snipe, then he can still use Lithuanians here and go for something else on Bay, like Mongols he had, for example. And one of the reasons why I think that his draft was much better is because many of his civs are very versatile. So I think he had, I will have to check, but I think he had Mongols available as well. Indeed, he does. So if he lost Huns or Lithuanians to a snipe, if he lost, for example, Huns to a snipe, what he would do is pull Lithuanians here and play Mongols on base. So really, the versatility is there, I would say. Anyways, we are gonna have Capoch with 7 on wood. That's a bit too much for a standard, you know, just fish boom type of play. Jordan is gonna go up at what is gonna be 22 workers overall. Capoch adding a couple more Voyagers. He didn't get Loom either, so Jordan's speed is gonna be much faster. That's gonna be about 50 seconds faster. Right? No, it's just gonna be 25. I actually did the math wrong, but when the Loom finishes, this Voyager is gonna finish, and then Loom is 25 seconds for Capoch. So there is going to be a 1 Voyager advantage of Jordan going into Feudal. The real question is, how is he going to make sure that he's not losing his dock here, or his fishing eco? And I would think that one thing that he could do, based on the fact that he has a better Feudal age time than his opponent, is make a galley. Because if you make a galley, then you can prevent your opponent from sneaking up a dock up on you, and it seems like Capoch isn't going to do that either, which raises the question of what exactly he is planning over here. He's planning to wall off his pond as well. Only has 2 fishing ships right now, and the third one just pops out when Jordan already has 4. So that's a nice and comfy eco lead as well for Jordan. There is the sneaky Voyager. So let's see if Jordan is looking for that guy. There's the barracks coming in, and Jordan should be looking for this guy right now. Especially, like, the beautiful thing here for Jordan is that Capoch's scout took damage, which means that Capoch won't be able to use that scout to easily escort this Voyager in here. If this was 2 even HP scouts, Capoch could just escort that Voyager out there. And that's going to be great for Jordan. He's going to see the Voyager, and he's going for the edge of the map exactly. And even after this, you can make a galley. So even if the Voyager walls himself around, what you do is make a galley, and now this could be a huge problem for Jordan. This could be a huge problem. Now he's going back. I think that might have been just a misclick. He doesn't see it. He doesn't see it. He's patrolling his scout over here, but by the time he checks it out, he sees the Voyager, but that's actually a Voyager that's walled in. And by the time he sees this, the galley is going to be too late. He's going to react to this one with a galley, but that's too late. if he actually makes the galley right when the dock starts to be constructed, he can finish it, I think, just in time to deny that wall. But Byzantine walls even have more HP, so getting through it is impossible, and that is going to be a huge disaster for Jordan. I would have to say that you had one job. Either wall this one off and just make sure that your opponent doesn't get there. And you know it's Byzantines. You have to expect fire galleys. This is the first massive decision-making mistake that Jordan has had, I think, in here. You have to expect the fire galleys. And it was fairly obvious that the Voyager will be coming in here, and I think Jordan has given up on that a little too early. I'm not sure what happened here. He's bringing in a Spearman to scout the opponent's eco. As Jordan is expanding to the other pawn here as well, Jordan will still be playing on 2 additional pawns. That's something that I would like to point out. So even if Capoch kills this, and now a Fire Galley pops out, Jordan is trying to kill that Voyager. But there's our Byzantine Fire Galleys, good luck killing them. You're not gonna kill that. I think Jordan's gonna lose this pawn. There is absolutely no way Huns win this against Byzantines unless Jordan makes a second dock or whatsoever, but by that time he's gonna lose his fishing eco, so that's a disaster start for Jordan. And Capoch is already trying to get a dock up here. This is exactly the situation that you want to avoid against Byzantines. It sounds so easy, yet it just didn't work out for Jordan. All you had to do is just make sure that your opponent doesn't sneak a dock up on you. Because if he does, he's gonna have way better fire guys than you are. Like, now it is Jordan trying to get this Voyager killed. He needs to make a galley here ASAP. He sees this Voyager and he tries to finish it off, but if Capoch quick walls that in, once again, Jordan is gonna need a galley here. Otherwise, the same thing is gonna repeat itself. Jordan once again getting locked out of here, trying to send the scouts, but a galley is what he needs. I think this dock is gonna be just in time once again. Yeah, he cancels the galley and goes for fire galley. He knows that it is going up as well. And the same thing is gonna happen over here for Jordan. He is actually putting himself into the situation which he should never be in. Really, Byzantines, the only thing that Byzantines could do here against Huns is just dominate them on water. Because the spear and skirm isn't really viable in the long run, I think. The Cav Archer mobility will be able to just dominate them, and really the only way Byzantines can just wreck Huns on this map is if you see what you're seeing right now on this pawn, what you're going to see on this pawn soon, and what you're going to see on this pawn. And that means that Capoch is going to have an easy free docks. Boom. He is right now even in terms of Voyager count compared to Jordan, but Jordan could cross out a couple of fishing ships very soon. And yeah, it's so small things deciding the outcome of series. If he notices that Voyager a split second earlier, a galley could have been in time. There's so many small things coming in here. And see that the Voyager is not getting actually killed here right now, repairing the other wall. So now the Voyager is getting burnt alive, poor guy. Once again, I love these pixelated silhouettes. They're so cute. Anyways, the problem that Jordan is facing is that this dock is up. This dock also has a lot more HP, so killing it is actually pretty challenging. And Jordan is gonna drop in terms of fishing ship count really fast over here. He's gonna be up against 4 pawns here. And that is far from ideal. That is far from ideal. Ecos are looking pretty close right now, so this is not over yet for Jordan, but now he is definitely in a tough spot. And honestly, if you're a Capoch, what you do now is stonewall yourself. So you actually stonewall yourself because you don't want Cav Archers running into your eco. If you stonewall yourself and go for skirms, you will just be able to edge out the victory here. Jordan is sending archers. Now don't ask me why Capoch stopped making those walls here. And it would be one of the biggest throws that I've ever seen if these archers just walk into Capoch's base and just kill the Voyagers, which apparently isn't seeming like it's gonna happen. But this is so far a disaster for Jordan, and the only reason why he hasn't lost this pawn yet is because Capoch is waiting until he gets a couple more fire galleys out. But now it's 46 eco compared to 39. Still the honey Cav Archers, as it seems like the archers will be sent this way to kill the Voyager. As I think Jordan might try to reclaim this pawn for himself by killing the repair Voyager and then trying to repair his own fire galleys. So these are actually nice moves from Jordan, but I feel like the fact that he allowed, especially this dock hurts. The rest of them, it happens, but this dock is something that could have been prevented and he should have expected that. And he didn't react appropriately to it. Now that being said, the Hunnic army in Castle Age is still rather cheap, so this is far from over. There is a considerable eco lead for Capoch, but Jordan is clicking to Castle Age a little faster, and one thing that Capoch doesn't really have is army on land. He basically has nothing. And if Jordan just goes for triple range CA, he could potentially push away Capoch from that gold mine. That's the only gold mine that Capoch has, and Capoch is doing the right thing. He needs to reinforce these walls with houses, preferably stone walls. You might even make a case for a defensive tower on this gold mine, but if Capoch loses this gold mine, that's disaster for him. Jordan is still pretty much in this game. In the long run, he's gonna be in trouble, but he still has a small window. His opponent is going up to Castle Age here. I like that Jordan is opening archers, to be honest, because I think he also feels like he needs to push this one, and deja vu, what we are seeing over here, as we are gonna have archers once again pushing Capoch's gold mine, and I feel like that actually is an attempted camo play here from Capoch, right? It kind of has to be camos, because if Jordan is going knights, that's something that Capoch has to be able to counter, and Jordan obviously is gonna go for triple range CA here with Huns. That's just so standard. Oh, Capoch with the sneaky villager, and imagine how different this game would look like if these wars were actually finished. Jordan sees this, the question is if he's reacting to this one. He's making an archer right now. The archer has to be attacking from this angle, otherwise the fire galley is gonna kill it, and Jordan once again doesn't focus the villager. Jordan is not focusing the villager. Oh my lord! Another screwed up play here by Jordan, and once again, I'm trying not to bash players for bad moves that they're making, but this is bad. Like, that could have been a stable denied, and when Jordan rewatches this track, he's also gonna say, oh, for the love of God, that could have been a stable denied. And that's a lot of wasted wood for his opponent in that case. And now, he's gonna have a stable right in his base, and it's not like he can just wall it around, because this fire galley will prevent that. So, it was open, yes, that's true, but the scout was low HP and there was a fire galley protecting, so a scout wouldn't have stopped this. But a single archer attacking from this side, he actually idles the villager, and the villager can't actually finish the building. Anyways, the good news for Jordan here is that he still has crossbows pushing Capoch's base. He's behind by 14 villagers, and soon that's gonna be crossbowman play, or, well, crossbowman cav archer, and this is kind of an all-in from Jordan, sort of what he has to do here. Or range cav archers. We'll see if he can actually make those ranges work. It seems like he cannot, so this might have been a little too much for him. Capoch is going for knights, which makes some sense, to be honest, with Byzantines. They're missing bloodlines, but other than that, they're alright. And early on, the knights could actually work out nicely, and the reason why the knights could work out nicely is because Jordan's base is just so open that imagine if this wall actually went up in Dark Age. And as I said at the beginning of the game, I don't think that Jordan walled himself enough. Against Byzantines on this map, you wall like a madman. You wall off your dock because you know that the fire galleys will be coming. Also, it is indeed a debatable question why he didn't rush this TC up. I think he's busy microing his forces here and he didn't even notice his villagers getting slaughtered. But I think the fact that Capoch killed 13 villagers against 3 is telling the entire story, and now I feel like Jordan is dead here. As good as the first 2 games was from Jordan, this was 1 out of 10 play from him. This was a full disaster. Ever since the start, the game plan in the previous games was good for Jordan. This was massively misplayed, I think, in concept as well. So he kind of felt like he didn't expect the dock from the Byzantines, which feels so bad right now. And didn't stop this range. Obviously, Cross is a map which requires an insane APM, and I think APM advantage is still on the side of Capoch here. And we have said that, like, even in the previous game, where Jordan was winning, he had a lot of idle time on his villagers. So obviously, you could think that the APM could be sort of a bottleneck here for Jordan, but you also have to consider that if you see this map and you see you're up against Byzantines, the first wars that you make are here, here, and here. You care less about this one because your opponent's most straightforward way of running into your base is around here. And Jordan could have sniped that villager. Jordan could have actually caught up or just seen the villager moving here and immediately made a galley. If he denies that, he has an untouched fish boom at the back. That is where it could have started. After that, like, this was over at the point where Capoch secured 4 lakes for himself and then even got this stable up. So yeah, indeed, it kind of felt like this is actually Capoch's home map because the previous one didn't really feel like it. So I still believe that the civ advantage was on the side of Jordan. It was execution that actually went wrong here for our German. So Capoch is not going down easily over here. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Capoch already had some big comebacks in his tournament history, like MBL versus Capoch, Red Bull Vololo 2 qualifiers. It was a 2-0 for MBL, and then Capoch actually did a reverse sweep, right? With the Atacama game being the last one. What is the fourth series today? Ruben versus Hart is the final series today. So Hans for Jordan gone, and Byzantine's gone for Capoch. And now if you're Jordan, are you going for Islands or are you going for Gold Rush? I think you're going for Islands. That's what I'm saying over here. So let us go for Islands, I would think. Indeed, the last series today is Art versus Rubenstock, and I will be casting that with T90 himself. So, rest of the games today were solo cast, and the last series will be going for that. And it seems like Jordan is not going to go for Islands. Now, there's two things that you can do here. You can say, okay, Islands is my stronger home map. I would think that Islands is his stronger home map here. So he could say, okay, Islands is my stronger home map, so I'm just going to say I'm going to go for my strongest home map and try to close the series out here. Or you could say, okay, I'm going to go for my weaker home map, try to win that way. But in case I actually lose this game, I'm going to have my stronger map remaining as the final deciders game. So yeah, it seems like someone said that Vivi got reverse swept by Capoch in, I think, Red Bull. He also had some great series, and we have a Gold Rush here. Tatars versus Britons coming in here. Quickly disable capture rate so you see the countdown. So I think early game I prefer Britons. But Tatars is definitely something that I like in the long run, I believe. A little bit more versatile as well. Britons is definitely the old school pick for Gold Rush. Tatars is more of the new line selection, so to say, in this one. And in 1 minute, we'll see who is the one who takes this game. If it's Jordan, he's going to sort of smash through Capoch and get into the Decider series to fight against Maxo running. And if it's Capoch, we will go to Islands in the final game, and we will see if Jordan can edge out victory there. As I said, Capoch is actually pretty good at the mental aspect of the game and trying to launch or mount comebacks. So this is definitely not over yet, but Jordan currently has the upper hand over his opponent, and we will see what game number 4 brings us. So what could be interesting is what Britons can do against Tatar Cav Archers in very, very late game. Because the Tatar Cav Archers have a lot of pierce armor, Britons don't even have the thumb ring available for them. And there isn't really a lot that Britons can do against Tatar Cav Archers with a lot of pierce armor. So very, very late game could be an interesting question. But usually Gold Rush is decided in early to mid Castle Age, where once again the free thumb ring for Tatars and the fact that they at least own thumb ring can be something that gets considered. With that, we are going to jump into game number 4 over here in this series. We will have Capoch playing in yellow on the left as Britons. Right side will be Jordan as blue Tatars. And that means that we can take a look at the maps of the players. If this was a recorded game, I would just speed through Dark Age because this is potentially going to be fast castles from both players, although Britons can do Drush FCs pretty nicely over here. Britons can go straight archers as well and still become a pretty decent save with a nice castle age time. Now, this is an absolutely beautiful map for Capoch. Look at this. This is perfect. Like, well, near perfect. The stones are bad. But the gold mine here is super duper safe. This wood line is like beautiful. Wood lines at the back all over the place. Easy wall off over here. And this isn't really hard to wall off either, and that would secure this 4 tile golds over here. Other side, for Jordan, oh no, Jordan, that's gonna hurt so much for him. His map is an absolute disaster. His base is completely open from the front, his primary gold, his primary stone is pretty much untakeable, it's so open. This gold is workable, but not great either, especially against Britons that could have 8-range crossbows. And both players have used up their restarts. You guys said that in the previous game, Jordan had no full map. Apparently, the map generation gods aren't favoring him today here. But Yeah, these wood lines are nice, and this stone is workable. That's something I can give him. So I can see this one being walled off here, and that stone, that wood line, and the gold could be nice. You could also wall it off here as well. But the thing is that on Gold Rush, you have so low gold to work with that you will need the other 4 tiles as well. So if Capoch sees this gold, he will know exactly that he has to play aggressive here. In fact, such a gold distribution might even prompt a tower rush from Capoch, even though Capoch is definitely not the player that is very aggressive with tower rushes, but this is definitely trashable. A tower here denies the golden stone, and the next tower would already be able to hit the other gold. So Jordan's base here isn't really great, to be honest, as Jordan also seems like he's actually laming away one gold once again from Capoch, sending it all the way around the map. So, in the meanwhile, where is Capoch's scout at? He still has it, and Jordan, let's see if he's actually going to pull the trigger on a lame. He's turning back. He's turning back. He's thinking. He's probably thinking about it and then decides not to. 4 on wood anyways for Capoch, no surprise about that. And there is a Premier Rush coming in here from our Argentinian. For Jordan, he's trying to wall all the way up front here. So there's a chance he will try something like Brax and then a range over here. It seems like he wants to protect this gold mine, which may still be a reasonable idea, but still Britain crossbows with the hill advantage here will be able to rain down death and destruction on that gold mine. So, Jordan coming in here with what's going to be a Premier Rush from him as well. Obviously, this is actually an interesting comparison between the two civs. The two civs are the ones that actually have like reasonable sheep-related bonuses in Dark Age. Britons with the faster gathering rate, and Tatars with the longer lasting sheep. Other sheep bonuses, what do we have even? There is the sheep conversion bonus for Celts, which obviously is very pretty much useless in competitive Age Vampires. And then you have the extra llama for Incas, and as much as I was sort of bashing Jordan for making the mistake of not voting up against the Byzantines over there, this is an awful war from Capoch. Why? I understand he didn't scout this and he might think there is a wood over here, but you could secure this gold. Even if there is a hole here, like even if this forest is this small, you could still wall to the edge of the map and secure that gold for yourself. So this way, what you're actually risking is that you will lose your berries. Just a single archer could deny your berries, and I don't understand. It's actually more investment to wall this off like this than if it would be like this. As I said, obviously it doesn't know that this is closed out, although I feel like he could have just scouted it. Here comes a rush, and that's actually smart from Jordan. That's actually very smart. He's driving those militias into the wolves to make sure that you know, the opponent isn't able to use these militias with very nice HP. Now Jordan will actually start chasing. Jordan doesn't really have a lot of walls coming up here, as Capoch will be fully walled. The right side is the wall that he's supposed to be making. The left side is a disaster wall from him, though. So, militias coming in from both sides in this. As Jordan is dropping a farm, makes me wonder, especially with that many sheep still remaining, if he's actually going for a fast castle here, like a Drush FC. It would be pretty ambitious to go for a Drush FC with such an open base, and the militias are now coming back. Jordan is going for his own berries because he's anticipating his opponent to be coming from that direction, as Jordan is going to go for some very outside-looking walls, and now the villagers will be exposed to a Drush. And Jordan's militias are lagging behind. That's going to be -1 at least. -1, maybe -2, -3 over here for Jordan. Oh, disaster, and I feel like Capoch starts to feel the blood in the water. I'm not sure, like, the tricky thing here is that I think Jordan was the underdog in this series, and I think Jordan knew that. And when you are the underdog and you are 2-0 against your opponent, you start to, you know, feel very good. It's not about overconfidence, it's about happiness. You feel like, okay, I just need to win one more game and I'm gonna win this, but oftentimes we are gonna see that players are so happy that they're leading that some small things are falling apart and losing focus a little bit. Anyways, that is -2 villagers for Jordan over there. And he still has his Drush alive, but he won't be able to do much with that Drush because Capoch is fully evolved. Capoch is definitely going for a Drush FC over here. We'll see what Jordan is up to, but I think Jordan also wants a Drush FC himself. So, with that, we are gonna have walls up for Jordan, but these walls are very, very far out as well, which actually hurts him quite badly, because repairing these walls is gonna be next to impossible. Capoch getting Loom right now. Jordan's going for 26 villagers. He already got Loom for himself earlier, but at this very moment, I don't think that he's gonna have the resources for a Drush FC, as that could be another villager. It's 26 villagers, but remember that this is 28 villagers timing because he lost 2, so technically the timing could be there, and he's gonna beat his opponent into Castle Age here, or at least Feudal Age, definitely. Castle Age, not so much. Capoch is also pretty low on food, though. This could be a little problematic for Capoch. He actually dropped some quite ugly farms over here. This farm is definitely not good when you could have dropped it over here, or maybe even here. Anyways, that militia is still roaming around trying to do some damage, but will be unsuccessful at that. And honestly, Jordan might be able to go up with the market. And one of the things that I could be thinking about for Jordan here is maybe straight Cav Archers with Drush FC. We have seen that he tried playing Cav Archers on the previous map, didn't actually work out. There is the range, as he would expect. And that's going to be a blacksmith. So it's not going to be stone selling, but I think indeed he has to go for multiple villagers here. So not just +1, +2, although it seems like he's going to be a little too low on food. If this was a market build, then he would be able to just buy himself the food, but I think he was a little too high on gold, a little too low on food. Like, 1 or more villagers. The thing is that with Drush, oftentimes you send 5 villagers to food because Drush is a very food-heavy build at the beginning, so you could have actually justified 1 more villager on food, on berries from the beginning instead of gold. Still, Jordan is going to get away with this one with the 30 seconds idle time, and the thing is that he's still beating his opponent to Castle Age by a considerable margin. And remember that he's going to have Tatar crossbows or Cav Archers at the beginning, but I think he has to open archers here. Because he's opening Cav Archers, his opponent will already have crossbows out. So the only way that you're actually getting a benefit from this is if you're actually going for a crossbow opening. He's opening skirms, that also works out. Skirm opening against Britons could definitely be something to consider. Remember that there is more versatility in Tatars, and Jordan is only playing 1 range, and he even cancels the skirm. What is Jordan up to here? I have a feeling that he's underinvesting into military here a tiny bit. In fact, he's on 4 military. 1 of that is the scout, and 3 of this is the Drush. And now this is gonna get cleaned up over here, so the Drush will be of no more use. This militia is still alive somehow, and it's just scouting and scouting and scouting, now gets yoinked. And what's gonna be that building? That's the question for Jordan. Is it another range? No, he just deleted the wall and then replaces it. Don't ask me why. So skirms are coming in for Jordan. This might be a fast elite skirm play from him, because the thing is that Britons will likely go for crossbows. So it makes quite a lot of sense that you go for elite skirm yourself, because you know that it's gonna be crossbows. You even see the archers. So that is something that Britons could actually struggle against a little bit, and it would give you a nice little edge in early castle fights. Although the question is, what do you do if your opponent gets a siege workshop up here, because that's the real problem that you will be facing. So the tumbling is already gonna be in for Jordan, and he can afford a lead skirm. We'll see if he actually does that or not. So far, I'm not sure if I see the game plan for Jordan here. Nope, that's TC. So it seems like Jordan just wants to boom, because he's sending forward 4 skirmishers. His opponent's scout is no longer existing, which means that that scout is not going to be disrupting him. But without a lead skirm, those skirms, they would just die to the crossbows, and now Jordan is pushing this one back as well. 2 TCs for him, as second TC is coming in here for Capoch 2. So the thing is that Tatar's boom is actually going to be a little bit better over here. The extra shield that you start with on your town centers will help you get your food eco up and going very, very easily. But you only play 1 range skirmishers versus double range Briton crossbows, and Briton ranges also work faster. So I'm not sure if 4 elite skirms, even with Botkin, will actually be able to stop this many crossbows. It might, especially with Thumb Ring, but it is at least risky. Now, Jordan is going to spot that blob of crossbows heading his way. We'll see what he's doing, and remember that these walls are very, very open for aggression, so Capoch will probably try to attack that side. Jordan will have to delete the wall over here and loop all the way around to hit those crossbows. Still, if he's able to do that, he is gonna be able to clean that army up, or at least hold off for the time being. Now, Jordan is 3 villagers behind it. He also has a lot more TC out of time than his opponent is, and that's something that we have noticed in previous games as well. So, even though he's Tatars, he isn't really able to afford getting this one out, and I'm honestly not sure what Jordan is doing, but I don't like it. Because as good as the first 2 games were from him, this is raising bigger and bigger question marks right now. Like, crossbows are not pushing it. He saw the crossbows here in the middle, yet he didn't react to them, and now the crossbows will actually break in. Luckily for him, he's got enough skirms to hold against this one, but it's just a couple of skirms, and behind this one, it's not like he's outbooming his opponent. So the question really is that right now Jordan is alive, but how is he going to continue this game? Because he's behind by 10 villagers almost. Eco upgrades are actually slightly better for him, but it's still a 10 villagers lead for Capoch right now, who's securing the middle here. Why do I have a feeling that Jordan is, as I said, weighing way too passive over here? And the thing is that he's not even outbooming his opponent. So it's not just defend and boom. This is defend and boom slower than your opponent is already booming. And as I said, if you take a hill here for Capoch and a Siege Workshop, you can start mangoing down Jordan's face. And remember that Jordan doesn't have super safe gold mines over here. In fact, Jordan has no villagers on gold. What is Jordan even doing? And the thing is that Jordan's entire army is over here on the left. Sure, Capoch loses the crossbows, but as I said, Capoch could secure this ridge now for himself. And the Siege Workshop there would be devastating for Jordan, I believe. That being said, there is the Siege Workshop that goes to a defensive position. Could still help pushing this up over here. There is going to be a second TC coming up, or actually the third TC coming up over here for Jordan, who is now mixing a couple of Cav Archers. So, we are gonna have skirms withstanding quite a lot of TC punishment, and that Siege Workshop is getting denied. Now it goes up, and the Scout is actually gonna go down pretty fast over here. Capoch, however, breaking in here. I'm not sure if Jordan noticed this over here, and if he doesn't notice this, this could end up being a disaster. Jordan also has a lot more idle time, indeed, both on his TCs and his villagers. How is Jordan behind? When he has 13 to 6 KD, pretty simple. He was killing a couple of crossbows, but he lost 2 villagers, and this is the column to look at. 2.5 minutes idle time on the more for Jordan's TCs than it is for Capoch's TCs. Also, villager idle time is triple. And look at this. It seems like Jordan just noticed that his base was broken into. And oh boy. Luckily for him, there is no ballistics on those crossbows, but if there was ballistics, this might be game over here, I have to say. The game is lagging so much on that play, but still, that's an awful lot of idle time here for Jordan as he's trying to quick gate this one in. He will clean this up, but once again, the idle time is just enormous over here. Finds one villager kill over here at the same time, but Capoch is now sending a lot of villagers to stone, which makes me wonder if we're going to see a castle in the middle eventually. And as he's trying to take down a couple of villagers, another one bites the dust from Jordan. He's on 3 TCs now. Capoch is also on 3. Jordan is 8 villagers behind, but these crossbows are being so annoying, and I feel like the more I'm looking at it, the more I'm seeing of 2-2 here and a decider game coming up. Also worth noting that, as I said, Capoch could have walled his base a long time ago like this, and then those skirms wouldn't really be able to harass him. But it's 29 army against 10. And when those Mangonels start rolling with the Britain 8-range crossbows, they will just start leveling those ranges. The only production building that Jordan has, and he's got 4 Cav Archers and 7 Elite Skirms against what is gonna be 28 Britain crossbows and Mangonel support. I don't know what Jordan is doing, I honestly don't know. Like, what's the game plan here? I don't understand that. Those Cav Archers in low numbers like that will be pretty useless, and now Capoch can drop a Siege Workshop here himself, and on this map, the thing is that you have to have the middle for gold, and remember that Capoch will be slowly starving Jordan out of gold if Jordan doesn't have the middle. Even more importantly, you have a Mangonel here. I think this is just on a hill. which means it's firing downhills to the TC. You could even fire downhills to the archer range and destroy that way as well. 69 Voyager against 66. Jordan has caught up in terms of Voyager count, but as I said, this Goldman is way too exposed to play passive like this. It's a super passive play from Jordan, and it sort of feels like he's just realizing that his opponent is doing something other than booming. Because he's now scrambling to rush up a second range in the Siege Workshop, but it's Briton range crossbows, so they even train very fast compared to other units that Jordan can make. So by the time he's able to react to this one, that's -1 TC potentially. He's gonna be forced to repair this one, but Briton crossbows can just camp here with 8 range in order to deny that. Capoch is even playing this one safe. He's not going full aggro. If he went for full aggro, it would be an even more devastating push. And as I said, you could justify another Siege Workshop here for Capoch for a better flow of mangonels. So, okay, that TC is going down. That TC is going down for Jordan as the mangonel now pops out for him. And indeed, Capoch is also 10 on stone, and that castle is going to go up here. If that castle goes up, Jordan is done for this game at least. Capoch loses a mangonel. Nice rebound from Jordan there. And the difference here compared to the Bay game is that on the Bay game I saw what Jordan was attempting to do in terms of, you know, trying to come back into this game. But microing this one is going to be insanely hard. He's got a couple of Cav archers here, but these are being more annoying than actually devastating. And 8-range crossbows will be even hard to micro against with your mangonels, as that TC is slowly going down. Jordan is running out of wood, by the way. He's spending so much on doing that. And it seems like, as I said, Capoch is also playing this one safe. He could go a lot more aggro and finish off Jordan faster. He's just playing for the safe play, going for the castle in the middle. And that is an actual nice shot from Jordan. I think he killed a couple. No, he didn't kill a single crossbow. In fact, many of them are still full HP. Jordan still, I think he's now in the need for buying wood. Now it's ballistics as well for Capoch. The TC goes down. And mangonels from Jordan, these need to connect. If they don't connect, this is game over for Jordan, because that many crossbows inside his eco is going to be disaster. Skirmishers try to break out the other side, but there is way too many mangonels for them to fight against. Firing downhills are the mangoes of Capoch, and Capoch could take down that range pretty easily. And behind this one, he's got a very nice free TC play. Firm control over the game, I think, for Capoch, as he's taking down that range, opening up this base even more. And remember that Jordan doesn't really have a lot of gold. Yeah, he's playing with skirms, but skirms will die to mangonels. So you see that he's taking that gold, and that's basically the emergency reserve, so to say. Whereas Capoch is able to just play all the gold in the middle, whatever he wants. Mangonel pops out, Jordan gets a huge hit. Now, if there's one thing that can actually get Jordan back into this game is something like this. That's, I don't know the numbers, but it feels like that's about 12 crossbows getting wrecked. And now the skirmishers with the Tar Heel bonus, they will actually do a lot of damage against those skirms. And now the question is starting to be raised if it's Capoch throwing this. Because his army got cleaned up over here, and these guys are probably gonna get cleaned up as well. Obviously, they will kill a couple of villagers. I think that right now for Capoch, the best thing he can do is just sit here and kill the villagers beneath that TC. Because that would actually put him into a good enough position to launch a next wave. Eventually, Jordan is gonna bring in the mangonels and he's gonna bring in the elite skirms. He also has an awful lot of idle time. I still think that Capoch has the upper hand in this one because it's easier for him to replace army than it is for Jordan. Yet, as I said, Capoch is not actually using his crossbows to perfection over here. This is a much better use now. Just moving in, picking off villagers. He should just separate this group and Jordan realizes it's over. I did point out that Capoch is actually pretty often pulling off reverse sweeps, and after two very dominant games from Jordan, are we going to see an absolute heartbreaking defeat here? Capoch defeated Nili in the previous round. Jordan was very close to avenging him, but it seems like Jordan is losing momentum, whereas Capoch feels the blood in the water, and it seems like he's getting sharper and sharper every game. So, with that, we will be going up for game number 5, and this is what I was talking about, that maybe Jordan has left his best home map for the final game, Islands. So, we will go to Islands over here, we'll check out the civilizations in a matter of moments. Let's see. Indeed, here comes the maps. Is that Derp? No, it's not Derp. I was just curious if he has birthday or not. Because I think Derp has the same profile picture, and he's a pretty decent arena player, but it's not him, but someone else with that profile picture. Anyways, Jordan's first home map was Islands. So as I said, I feel like he might have saved his best map for the final set, or the final game. Tatars is gone for Jordan. He's gonna be left with Berbers or Mongols, which is likely gonna be a Berbers play, versus what is gonna be Koreans. Jordy doesn't have Vikings that sniped. Jordy doesn't have Vikings in this. So Britons is a win. So it's gonna be, it has to be Koreans here. And here's the deal. It's a very, very fun fact in competitive H1 players. The only civ that does not have demo rafts even is Koreans. I didn't know that until I started casting Hidden Cup. But it is true. The only civ with no demos at all is Koreans. So technically, Jordan can overrun his opponent with demos pretty easily. That being said, Capoch will probably have to play with simple galleys. And the real question is if Capoch is able to get to a reasonable amount of galleys before Jordan is able to overrun him with fire. That's basically the thing. And indeed, turtle ships, let's go. It could actually happen. But it is somewhat unlikely, although it would be one way to close a series like this. From what seemed like it is going to be an upset and a stomp, this is turning into a very, very competitive and open series. Indeed, no surprise under the stun over here. We will have Koreans versus Berbers matchup. I'm going to grab a drink while this countdown is going, so I'll be back in a moment. My timing was perfect. I'm back. So here we go. We are gonna have the final game of this set. Jordan as Berbers on the right side in blue, and on the northern part map it is going to be Capoch playing as Koreans in yellow. So taking a look at the maps of the players, Capoch actually is a pretty nice map overall. It's a fairly thick and bulky island, so denying resources like this woodline, for example, or parts of these wood lines aren't really possible. The gold mines are very, very safe, so are the stone mines. So Capoch actually is a very, very good map. If there is something that I would actually criticize with this map is that his deer are pretty hard to push. So that's gonna take some time until he's able to do that. Whereas on the other side, Jordan's map is indeed looking much, much worse. This narrow choke point means that, for example, war galleys could deny these villagers from getting to these wood lines. This one is also not a great wood line. He's got a big, big, big wood line over here, though. But yeah, if this bay wasn't here, I would say Jordan also is a good map. The other tricky thing is gonna be, and that's going to be very interesting to monitor. This gold mine is good, the stone mine is good, the berries are good. But what about this gold mine? This is actually a good gold mine because it cannot be denied from water, but it's also bad at the same time. And the reason why is because the shortest path that leads from your town center to this gold mine is all the way around here or all the way around here. Which, number one, means there's a lot of walking time. More importantly, these passages could be denied by ships. So theoretically, if Jordan loses control over water, it is possible that just war galleys here and war galleys here would prevent him from accessing this gold mine. Obviously, you can chop through this one over time, but this could actually be a problematic gold mine spawn for Jordan. But really, I think the biggest problem that he's having is this bay over here, and it looks like he's using double sheep to scout over here on the far left of his island. And in the meanwhile, Capoch is not pushing deer. Jordan does. So oftentimes you push the deer on this map because you want to get a fast-ish or like a faster feudalage than your opponent. So we have the house coming in here for this voyager. That's gonna be probably a front dock over here. Jordan has no restarts remaining anymore. He has used it up on cross. I haven't seen the map, but you guys told me that it was Jordan restart. Neither does Capoch have his own restart available. And Jordan is actually going to go for a little bit further away dock position, but that would actually be a pretty unfortunate dock position because all of the deep fish are pretty far out. So this would have been a much luckier spawn for Jordan. Obviously, he doesn't really know where the deep fish are, so this is sort of I'm not going to say gamble, but it is a little bit luck-based as well, where you actually place your dock. This would have been a great dock spot. This would have been a good dock spot. This is actually a pretty bad one. It's not awful, but there is no deep fish that's like right next to it. Anyways, double front dock play over here. I would think that Capoch will still open with galleys, because the thing is that you don't want to even start engaging into fire galley fights. Because if you start engaging in fire galley fights, the Berber player is going to bring in the demos. Also worth noting, and this is why it's tricky, you could try playing this one with galleys, as Capoch is using the scout to lure in the board. But here's the deal, and Berbers might be one of the best saves to do this against Koreans. As I said, the fire ships should be able to just easily destroy the Korean fire ships here because you have demos supporting, so you should always have the upper hand. On the other hand, galleys could be problematic if they come from the Korean player. But Berbers are actually very good at this because they have faster moving ships. And that means that those fire ships have a much easier time catching up to galleys than it would be the case for other civilizations. So being able to overrun your opponent with fire galleys, if you are Jordan, could be a legitimate possibility over here, given the fact that your ships are moving much faster than the opponent's ships will be. That also applies for fishing ships. So one of the reasons why these further away fish isn't that big of a deal for Jordan. Anyways, Jordan is going to go for a very fast fuel over here. He was mostly pushing in there throughout Dark Age. So that is why fuel age is going to come in for him 20 seconds faster than Capoch. So Jordan has caught the start much better in this one. And indeed, you are absolutely right. Jordan's Island actually looks like a fish. I would dare to say that Jordan's Island looks like a shark with its mouth open. So this is the tail of the shark. This is the mouth of the shark being wide open. Over here you see, you even have a little teeth at the top. Indeed, I have to cheer for Jordan then in this case, because unfortunately this channel is inevitably biased. Hello there, now that is unexpected. That is absolutely unexpected. Let's go with the landing. Now that is not something that you actually prepare for, but Capoch might actually get lucky because he's trying to find shorefish over here. And oh, Jordan, that could be so unlucky. Oh, I think Jordan is fine. No, wait, nope, he's not. Where is he? Sneaky. Let's see if Capoch saw it. It only appeared for a split second. So there is a chance that he didn't see it. But this is actually very unlucky for Jordan, because Capoch was looking for another shorefish to drop his dock right next to. If there was a shorefish here, that would have been a dock around there probably. So, theoretically, Capoch may not have seen this, and there is the surprise from Jordan. He doesn't want to go into fire ship fights, he wants to go for scouts. And to me, it kind of seems like Capoch has no idea. So technically it was visible for a brief moment. However, unless you are specifically looking at this screen, it is awfully hard for you to spot that one, and it doesn't look like Capoch saw it. If Capoch actually thought he saw something, he would actually be looking in this direction. By the way, this is why you don't actually lure boars with your scout. And the thing is that I've been talking about this a lot in Islands games. If you lure boars with your scout, you have to be 100% sure that your opponent isn't landing you. You obviously are sure that you are not landing, but you have to be sure that your opponent isn't landing you. Because the thing is that now your scout is actually weaker. I don't like this from Jordan though. He shouldn't reveal these scouts right now. And now Capoch sees it. I think that's a disaster from Jordan though. Here comes the towers. Although towering Koreans might not be the best idea of the day. Especially when you have 2 vultures against 5. Now it is going to be Capoch scrambling to do this. I think that Jordan should have waited a little bit more. Because the funny thing is that his fishing ships weren't pushed, so he wasn't in the need of pushing directly. If he waits until he has like 4 scouts, he could have done a lot more damage, and I've mentioned that Capoch is a fast player. He's a really fast player when it comes to quick walls, even though he messes this one up over here. All 3 villagers went for that. Scouts roaming left and right. Now the thing is that Capoch's eco isn't necessarily operational, I would say. So the amount of idle time he's going to be suffering from is going to be huge. Scouts stop attacking the villager. And the thing is that this wasn't perfect for Jordan, but he's killing villagers and there is no barracks from his opponent. Capoch could be falling apart. He could be falling apart over here. And the thing is that Jordan, look at the Berber galleys. Jordan had, I think, the better sieve of the 2 for this map, but the element of surprise is coming in, and Jordan might actually prevent a reverse sweep, because the thing is that Capoch will be able to outproduce him in terms of ships, because he's got 3 docks, he's got a much more ship-focused eco. However, if you consider the fact that Berber fire galleys move faster, they would chase down the early galleys. They actually did idle all of the fishing eco of Capoch. Capoch has 3 on food, which means that DC will idle for so long. And it is a 25 to 33 villagers lead. Capoch trying his best, but Jordan pulling a massive, massive, massive unpredictable play. I think no one actually saw that. And indeed, someone just said that Capoch just got loom. That's one of the reasons, and many people have been asking, why do you get loom on islands when you play Italians versus Portuguese? You're not gonna get landed. You can never assume you don't get landed, and for many players, they just make loom because it's still safer to just make sure I don't get landed, or even if I get landed, I don't actually lose. So, did he get loom? Then it was a misinformation. Still, in that case, if he got loom before feudal age, I think the same logic still stands. But in this case, I have to say that if he got loom before feudal age, that's the right thing to do. Now I remember getting loom as well. So, skirmishers coming in, and technically Jordan could intercept those villagers there as well. Fargal is chasing down the galleys here, and this is brutal. 38 eco compared to 27. Who would have thought? Who would have thought this from Jordan? And I feel like Jordan also felt that he needs to pull something special. And he did. He definitely pulled something special. In the first 2 games, he just played standard and outplayed his opponent. In the 3rd game and the 4th game, he played standard and got outplayed by Capoch. But what I value in Game of Legion, and that is one of the reasons why I just love watching Game of Legion games, is because I feel like they always have a very, very good surprise strategy. Something that is unexpected, something that the opponents weren't prepared for, and this was one of those. And this has spiraled out of control for Capoch. I mean, now he stabilized his base, but look at the water. Jordan used this land aggression to secure the water for himself, and there's a couple of galleys on the water, but fire galleys will just catch up with them. It's also worth noting that Jordan has managed to keep the fishing eco alive for himself, and it's a 40 to 27 villagers lead. Jordan killed 13 whales from his opponent, and I'm trying not to say it is impossible for Capoch to win this, but it is getting closer to that. Also worth noting that Capoch lost his berries. And indeed, Koreans don't have demos, so that is not going to be an easy one to deal with those fire galleys over here. And the thing is that because Capoch doesn't really have water, he doesn't have good food eco. He's got 3 fishing ships, and that's basically it. No farms whatsoever, and normally, when you start losing like the water like that, you just send 10-15 villagers on berries. Often at times we have seen players doing that. And Berbers are very underrated civilizations and sort of a counterpick to Koreans in this aspect, because you don't have demos to deal with the fire galleys, but the fire galleys are too fast. You can't just run away from them. So that mill here was just constructed so that Capoch can add farms, but there is going to be another tower coming in. Capoch will pull the villagers, but there is actually scouts and archers around. Nice quick cross from Jordan. Jordan, and really, as much as I was bashing him for the very, very potato play, especially in the previous game, I feel like this is something that makes him deserve this win so much. Because he decided, okay, I was losing when I was playing conventional. Let's bring in a new strategy. Something that is unexpected. Obviously, landings are not completely unexpected. However, this is why I love the Berbers pick. Berbers are a water sieve. So you don't expect landing from Berbers. If Jordan went for, I don't know, Incas or Celts, Capoch knows there is going to be landing coming. The element of surprise is what Jordan gained with this one. And it's nearly an insurmountable lead now for Capoch. Look at those resources. I think when Jordan reaches Castle Age, Capoch will tap out. Capoch will have no fishing eco. Capoch has 30 villagers over 46. And it is, look at that, 660 food, 320 gold. Jordan will just go up, and Jordan won't even make the War Galley upgrade, I believe. He will just go Knights, cheap Berber Knights, and Siege Workshop. And I also think that it is going to be a GG at latest when Jordan reaches Castle Age. I think Capoch knows. 15 villagers lost, and it's a heartbreaking defeat for Capoch from the perspective that he seemed like he was dominating Jordan in the last 2 games. And that is why Jordan left Islands for the last game. Now we know the answer as well. I was questioning because I thought that Jordan's best ever home map is gonna be Islands. And I was questioning if it's actually worth using Islands in the last game or potentially the 4th one. And now you see why he did it. The reason why he did it is because he didn't want to show this strategy unless it was absolutely necessary. I'm fairly sure that was the plan. That he wanted to save this strategy because it is very unpredictable, especially from a player like Jordan, who is not known for going full aggro with his gameplay. So he wanted to save this strategy, but decided, okay, if I need to fight a decider game for whatever reason, I'm gonna do this with this strategy. That was the plan for Jordan. The Berbers pick is very, very good on here, and one of the reasons why this is a so good play here from Jordan is because he's got Berbers. He can't just be beaten by galleys, because those galleys get eaten by the fire ships of Berbers. Berbers are a very underrated water sieve, and we're probably gonna have a mixture of crossbows and knights coming in here, or at least that would be the plan for Jordan, but Capoch will tap out. He's 27 population at 67. This game is absolutely over. I don't like to call games early, but what is Capoch going to do? He's got nowhere to go. Archers denying everything here, and there will be a mangonel coming in pretty soon. I think we're just waiting. It's not a matter of who, it's a matter of when right now. So, really, Jordan could actually start adding fishing trips himself because he has ultimate water control, and he will do that as well. I like this. Jordan isn't just sitting on the lead. He's actually going to build on it as well. And Capoch... If this wasn't a decider game, I would say that Capoch would have already tapped out. And yeah, honestly, for many people it might seem like, as that's once again very, very good use of the fire ships getting through these walls. So, many people might say, oh yeah, what is unpredictable in landing? It's not about just landing as an unpredictable thing. It's landing with this civilization, which is known to be a good water save. In fact, if you actually go back in my cast, I've never in a single time I've never mentioned a landing as an option here for Berbers. Because I said they're a good water sieve, and we're just going to see fire galleys overrunning Capoch. And also, it is a player that is not known for these aggressive plays, and Jordan avoiding the reverse sweep, avenging Nili's defeat in the previous round in what was one of the most entertaining series, I have to say, in this tournament so far. Capoch exits with a 3-2, and as I said, I think either of these players would have deserved this series. After the first 4 games, I would have said both of these players deserve it because they played 2 very, very good games each. But after this landing from Jordan, I think he deserved a little bit more because he was able to pull something out of the bag of tricks when it was needed the most. And this is what I'm always talking about when it comes to Gamer Legion. We don't know if this was Jordan's idea or it was something that Gamer Legion guys suggested to him. They do have a Discord where they discuss strategies. And maybe it was one of these strategies that Gamer Legion has prepared. I'm sure that his teammates helped a lot for him to prepare. And I'm pretty sure that before this game launched, he discussed, or maybe even before the series, he discussed with them that if we go into game number 5, I'm going to be using Islands, this strategy. This was Jordan's first home map that he selected in the draft, which means that he really wanted to be this map as his best home map, and he left it for his final game in case he loses on Gold Rush, and I think that paid off really, really well. Pulled the unpredictable and ended up winning this series. Jordan gets into the next round of Hidden Cup 4 qualifiers.